out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heartrending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Hey, good morning. It's Friday, so I guess that means we can finally jump around. See what I did there? So you can jump around. Hope you're doing well wherever you might be as we finish up the week. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to spend part of your morning joining us. We hope you make your day a little better, at least the start of it, as you get through the final day of the week for many of you. I'll be working tonight with volleyball and tomorrow. But, hey, when you're calling a game, does it really work? Come on. A lot coming up today. Will Stewart from Tech Sideline will join us. Get the final say on how all those guys saw the Tech NC State matchup. Mike Ashley will join us. We're going to have an open mic session. Mike called. He wants to name his segment. So we're going to do that. Wes Durham, who is in Syracuse, New York, will join us, the voice of the ACC Network, voice of the Atlanta Falcons, one of my broadcasting mentors. And then Jen the Gamecock Girl with our picks. I have a feeling that there's now a new leader in the clubhouse in terms of our college football game picks. We'll see. See if she has it that way. Be sure to join us in our McClellan Chiropractic chat room. It's always a little wilder on a Friday, which is awesome. Or hit us up on our Professional Door Incorporated text line, 540-391-0788. We would love to hear from you. How you're going to spend your football weekend, high school football tonight. We'll run over some of the games for you. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsoring our studio here in Reiner. Another home game tonight in Reiner for those 3-1 high-flying Eagles. Get a free quote, 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. I just mentioned the McClellan Chiropractic chat room, thanks to Mark Hundley and his crew. I think it's next week. I'm going to go over with the cam and get cracked, and then we'll have that up on the channel. Thanks to Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage doors. They do it better than anyone. You know, there's a reason they've been in business 38 years. His dad started the company. He's continuing it now. Route 100 right across from New River Community College. Second generation, man. I love businesses like that. So cool. Thanks to Lara Ramsey, everybody. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of this guy and the program. Been with him about 35 years. So excited for Lara. She's going to do a great job. BDST Fan Question of the Week is brought to you by the attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Go see him. Specializes in trusts and estates. And I have the results we ask every week, and I tabulated them. Hang on. See? I even got a notepad here. The question this week was how many total wins that you, the best and smartest listening audience in YouTube, thought Virginia Tech would end up with. Now, it's not just ACC wins. It was overall wins. And 4 ended up edging out 5. So we had 36 people say 4 wins. 33 people said 5 wins. And then it went down to 3. And some people, it was actually 1 6-win. One person had them going to a bowl. One person said no wins. But it's fun. That's the BDST fan question of the week. Little River Heating and Air. Go see Charles Lee, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, for all of your air and heating needs. And so excited. We're going to have Jonathan Sweet on next week, the director of Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the title presenting sponsor of this program. And that's very exciting. I can't wait to get into all the things that's going on with Pulaski County. So thanks to all those folks. Thanks to you. We may have some more sponsor announcements next week. If you are a sponsor, please reach out. We work with your budget. I do not come to you and say, you must pay this. Just let me know if you want to help out. Hopefully I'll get an update on the T-shirt production early next week. And we'll have those for you hopefully sooner than later. But jump in the chat and holler at us. We'd love to talk to you. Got another great response yesterday from having Marty and Coach Ragsdale on. And I went back yesterday as I was finishing up lunch, and I just watched that segment. And then I'll tell you about the follow-up things that happened that night. Coach Ragsdale, who has to be, I'm guessing early 80s, is an absolute football savant, isn't he? I mean, the guy is just an absolute genius. He is. Listening to him talk about the single wing and listening to him break down one play, and this just shows you how intricate things are for coaches. And this is why we see things, and we may know football. I think I know a little about football, and I'm sure you know a lot about football. But Marty asked him one question, and I was went back and I was like, wow. One question about why he took certain language out of the play call. And Coach Rags goes into all these different alignments, the blocking schemes. I mean, it blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. And I could have listened to that stuff all day. I was just so engaged at the depth and how amazing it was and how excited Marty was to be listening to it and how excited that I was to be listening to it. And I think you were too. So that is up on the channel, and I appreciate all the people who shared it. Get the word out. Again, subscribing to our channels, one of the better ways that you can support what we do, because it's free. And again, we're headed toward 530 subscribers now. So if you subscribe, it's free. It's absolutely free. If one person of our 528, whatever it is, subscribers gets one person to subscribe, we'll hit 1,000 very quickly. And that is the new threshold of everything. So please share the videos. You're welcome. I appreciate David Mabry. He reached out yesterday, 3 Rings Football, and he shared the whole segment with Marty. And anytime, that's great. Any way we can get the word out. No problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Prometheus. That's awesome. Please keep spreading the word. That's great. Thank you. Word of mouth is the best way to get people to jump on it. Top of the morning to you, Morris, from the Palm Coast. That just sounds cool. Where do you live? Where do I live? Well, I live at the Palm Coast. Oh, okay. Yes, Paul. Friday. Paul, I believe you sent me. I'm sorry I didn't respond on the text line. I got texts a lot yesterday, a lot, and I love it. Don't ever think you're bothering me. The text line's open all the time for me. I get it. Like during the day, even after the show. It is not just limited to show hours. So you can hit me up with any questions. I try to respond. Yesterday was busy at Radford. So, Paul, I apologize. You brought up the name Chip Kelly for the tech job. I can speak of this a little bit because the school that I used to cheer for and support, UCLA, which I don't any longer, Chip Kelly was there. It was his final collegiate job, and he did not adapt very well. He's now the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. I don't think he handled the whole segue into the NIL and recruiting very well. I don't think that's anybody that Virginia Tech would really want, not that kind of mindset that he has. He's a very egocentric guy. I do believe he is a very astute offensive coach, and I think as a coordinator, he's going to work. I do. But I don't think he's going to be a head coach again. I don't think Chip Kelly is going to be a head coach ever again, pro or college. And I get people are sending me links, and I saw one yesterday. It may have been Wayne. I don't think Wayne is in here yet. I don't think Wayne. Oh, here we go. It's Friday. Yeah, I know. So sorry, he's been partying all night. So Balboa Creed, he stays out all night. He's a hunter. I'm proud of him. And so when he comes back in the morning, what I do, I have a door here. I leave it kind of cracked so he can come in and out. So I apologize. You could see Marty in his facial expressions, his respect for Rags. Absolutely. It was amazing to watch. The dude's a football genius. I mean, it's so good. It's such good content. So Marty calls me. He's been filming. He's traveling again today. He's all over. He's at the Georgia Alabama game. He did all this stuff. So he goes, man, my phone has been buzzing. He said, people are just blowing me up all day about the segment that we do on your show with Coach Rags. And I said, well, that's awesome. He said, I got to tell you, Rick, I have more fun doing that than anything I'm doing right now. I mean, he loves his job and he's good at his job. I'm just saying, see what I'm saying? It brings everything home, and things that he was talking about, and things we've talked about a lot about playing high school football and high school sports. But that's cool. That's cool. He said all his Giles peeps were just hitting him up. So we're looking into things maybe we can do. I don't know. We have to talk with Coach Ragsdale, whatever he feels like doing. But it's a great segment, and you can learn not only football from the way Giles ran it, but that guy could talk about football in any aspect, any type of offense, any type of scheming. I would love to get into some of that stuff. I really would. But yeah, it was a special day again, having those two on. It's mind blowing how much Coach Ragsdale still knows. And I'm telling you, it didn't sound like he's missed a beat. It just sounds like he could jump right back out there. It really does. It just sounds like he could go right back out there and start coaching tomorrow. But you notice what he said, and this is when you know, right, is anything that you do in life, whether it's coaching football, whether it's this. And when this show ended on the radio back last December, I realized how badly I needed a break. Once you're away from it, you're like, "Oof, man, I needed to get a break." And Coach Rag said he realized he was done. It was interesting the way he told that. Yeah, Prometheus, I bet so. He says, I feel very privileged to have played against Ragsdale 3 times. Good morning, Rodney. Indeed, high school football Friday night. And I got to call a lot of the games while he was there when I was doing the broadcast for Radford High School. Never could find the damn ball. They were so good at their execution, man. When they were peeking out, you're just like, I don't know. He talked about that bootleg pass. It always seemed to work, the bootleg pass. They would run it at just the right time. You see the back running out, and you don't know and you see him stand up, and there's a guy streaking down the sideline, like they described there with pulling the safety over. Brilliant. All right, the 4th and Goal show launches right after this show, by the way, on the channel, on the Big Dog Sports Talk channel for Week 5, myself and Jermaine Farrell. Brought to you by National Bank and Professional Door Incorporated. All right, so what do we have tonight? Liberty, EC Glass, Blacksburg, and Salem. That's interesting to me. Blacksburg's much improved. Salem is 0-4. 0-4. Lord Botetourt, GW Danville. They've only played one time because they've been different classifications. That's a good game. Another good game right here in the NRB, James River and Radford. James River is really good. Radford hasn't played in a long time because of their bye week, and then Galax had to forfeit. They had to forfeit again tonight. It's Northside. I hate to hear that for those kids. Hopefully they can persevere. We lived it here in Reiner a couple of years. So that'll be a good one tonight, Norm Lindenberg Field. Hidden Valley, Patrick Henry, that won't be pretty for the Titans. Glenver on an absolute roll, taking on Martinsville. Glenver's really good, man. Kevin Clifford is one hell of a football coach. One hell of a football coach. Brookville and Amherst County. Of course, Mark Lindenberg leading the Bees once again. Floyd County, Tim Cromer taking on Fort Chiswell. The Buffs and the Pioneers. Beloved alma mater, Pulaski County opens up district play. They have Cave Spring tonight. Giles, speaking of Coach Ragsdale, at Tazewell tonight. Single wing hitting the road. Chohowie and Northwood. Perry McClure and Luray. I just wanted to say Luray. Where do you go to high school? Luray. Patrick County and Carroll County. Cavaliers and the Cougars. Eastmont. Right here. Battle for the Cup tonight against the Auburn Eagles. And that is one I'm going to be sitting there when I have volleyball tonight at 6, and I hope the game will still be going on. Hopefully when I get done, I'm going to walk up there to the end of it, and I'm going to have the Virginia game on my phone. Bland takes on Eastside. Craig County at home against Twin Springs. Go Jeremy Haymore. Gretna and William Campbell, and that's your high school schedule for the evening. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff all the way around. So yeah, that's your high school football schedule. All right, let me get caught up here on our. I love talking to everybody in our McClellan chat room and on the text line. Three Rings football, David. Thank you again. Yeah, anytime, man. You want to share anything, you're free, brother. And thanks for putting the thing out there, the QR code. My phone conversation with Rags turned into marathons, and I enjoyed every minute. Yeah, I mean, you just sit there and just absorb it. We're all sports nuts. We're all football people. We're just sitting there going, wow, listen to this dude. No wonder they were so damn good. Rodney, he had all the plays in his mind, no paper. Yeah. And Marty will bring up one segment of a game, and he threw out the score. I forget my freaking Jeep keys twice every day. Yesterday, left the show, went out and sat down and realized it wasn't starting. Oh, yeah, I left my key on the table. Rags is telling you specifically about the formation they used to score game-winning touchdown in the regional semifinals back in 1992. Hokey Bob, when Ragsdale starts out, he's a little like a wind-up toy. By the time he's done, he's like an N&W 611 locomotive roaring down Christiansburg Mountain. Absolutely. You could hear it in his voice inflection. Coach Phipps at Blacksburg. Oh, Coach Phipps. I got to call Blacksburg games for a couple years. I had great conversations with Coach Phipps. Always had us ready. We played them in the first game of the year. Yeah, absolutely. Every year. And we started preparing day one of camp. Coach Phipps, a defensive genius. Man, we had some good conversations about defensive football. That was fun. I did that for a couple of years at the old Bill Brown Stadium. And I got to work with Dave Christ. What a wonderful man and one terrific football coach. I loved the old Bill Brown Stadium, man. Loved it. Rodney, there you go. You've got James River and Radford, man. You're in a good spot tonight. That's going to be a good one. BDST legal counsel Richie Davis is a coach for Radford. They finally get to play a game. I know they're excited. Yeah, Hidden Valley's struggling. Yeah, they're down. They're at least they're playing. I'm glad they're playing, but they are down. It's kind of strange, isn't it? The consolidation, the split, and now they have trouble fielding a team. No, Wayne, I ended up not watching any of the ECU game last night. They did beat up on Army, though. That's a good program. You're right. But I did not. I kind of meant to, and then I got busy doing things, and I did not. I didn't even watch the NFL game. I turned it on, and I saw the Cardinals' just stupid, ridiculous uniforms. And I was just, here we go. What are we doing? What are we doing? I remember from the class of 78, Rags was one hell of a math and algebra teacher. Yeah, Marty has said that how many times how brilliant he is at math. Math is absolute and single wing is deceptive. Go figure. That's true. Morris, that's a very good point. So Coach Rags can have both going on in his head. That's good. That's good. What year did I call Blacksburg? 98, 99. I was well after that. 98 and 99, I was working at Virginia Tech. I had left calling high school games. So you were before me, Prometheus. Oh, man, the years. It wasn't too long after that. Because when I left Virginia Tech, I was over there 3 years working with Bill, women's basketball and helping out with the football network. Did a few men's games, men's basketball games. And I went back to Radford full time. Well, I wasn't full time. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting. You got to give me a second, Prometheus. I was doing the games at Radford. It wasn't a full-time gig. I was the full-time sports director at the radio station because this show started in 2001. So Dan was doing Pulaski County, Dan Callahan. Man, I miss Dan. And I believe that's when I started doing Blacksburg. So about the mid-2000s, 2002, 2004, I have my charts and stuff, and I always put the date on them. I can go back and find it. Something around those times. Not sure. And I might be completely off because unlike Coach Rags, I'm not very good at math in any way, shape, or form. We had, by the way, let me do this again. I had a lot of people who did not see the T-shirts, apparently. Let me put this back for you. Here you go. This is what they're going to look like, thanks to Top Shelf. And we'll try to call Brandon today. That's what they're going to look like exactly, at least the first batch. We're going to go with that color, and you've got the main logo on the back, the QR code, and then the secondary logo on the chest. They did a great job. So that's what we're doing right there. So those of you that are asked, I told you I would show you today, and there you go. They are sharp. They are very sharp. Brandon did a wonderful, wonderful job. So there you go. There's the shirts. We're going to go to large, extra large, double X, Wayne. We're going to go large, extra large, and double X. Give us your Blacksburg High School radio. I don't really, the only time I have a radio voice is when I'm making fun of people who have a radio voice. I don't really have one. Oh, Troy's got Pulaski County Cave Spring for the Patriot. Troy Sarver. Troy, if you think about it, hit me up and let me know how the game's going. I'm working tonight. I'd like to see how the Cougars are doing down there. Hit me up. Yeah, nobody's ever bothering me. Ever bothering me. Monday on the program, by the way, Matt Rohn will join us, the director of athletics at James Madison. Well, large is a lady size, right? I mean, they'll probably, if you dry them, they might shrink. Uh-oh. That means Carol's mad at me. I don't want the wrath of Carol. But I don't really have so when I'm making fun of a radio voice, it's usually like this, because you have people that put a microphone in front of them, and then all of a sudden they start talking like this. They don't want to sound like themselves, and they want to over-pronunciate every word to make it feel like that they are a little bit above the people they are talking to. I'm sure you've heard these people a lot, whether you're on the radio or just watching public address announcers. But I don't really I don't really do that. Now, I did take a diction class at Radford. I had to learn to do the best I could to hide my Southwestern Virginia accent. I mean, because if not, I could have been, hello, everybody. Welcome to Big Dog Sports Talk. Good morning. Glad to have you with us wherever you might be. That was me. It's not me making fun of that voice. That was me. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, keep me updated. Please keep me updated. But a lot of big games tonight, high school. District play starting, conference play in college football. Virginia Tech now 10.5 point underdogs again. Virginia only 6.5 point underdogs now tonight against Florida State. How about that? 6.5? Do I pick Virginia in that game? Will I do that? Yeah, 10.5, Virginia Tech and NC State. And that thing has really fluctuated. That's been weird. It went from 7 to 11. It went down. And now here we are. We're back up to a strange number on that game. That sounded like you could do Deep Down Dirty in the Bog with the professional radio voice. We call those guys puker guys, by the way, in the business. In the business, they are called puker guys because it sounds like at any moment, because they're doing this with their voice, that maybe we're going to have an upset stomach and they might puke any moment. But I just talk. I don't do that. At least I don't think it. I think it probably changes a little bit naturally because you do want to pronunciate things correctly. So I think it changes things. Very true, Prometheus. And I got a lot of questions, and that's a very serious thing. Nobody knows which Tech players are going to be there or not. We're going to talk about this with Will a little bit. Will usually has some insight as to what's going on with the rumors and the things like that. It feels like to me we're going to have a huge, huge exodus. Quentin Reddish is another one. I'll just tell you now, he's probably going to go to the portal. He's listed as not available for the game, is how they worded it. It is what it is. Tucker Holloway yesterday went in the portal. That surprised some people. There's going to be a lot more like that. That's why they didn't list a too deep. So we'll see if Will has some info for us when he joins us. Because he sits there and he compiles it all, and he has the people that are closest, I think, the media people that know the most on a consistent level. Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to change. The roster's going to look, I think the roster's going to look very different on Monday. I do. I really do. But you know what? What did Dwight say yesterday? That's okay. That's okay. You might get some younger guys out there that are playing for more of the right reasons. I hope it, well, I'm probably going to be wrong or disappointed, and won't be wrong because it's not really a prediction, but I hope that this thing doesn't just constantly turn into who's trying the hardest with the money they're making. But I guess that's exactly the natural reaction of things and where we're headed. It's just a complete mess. Yeah, like Dwight said, there's the door. You get out of Dodge. You're going to forfeit your money? Good. You don't want to be here? Good. Yeah, can they field an offensive line? Yeah. I mean, they're banged up as it is. Yeah, UCLA lost a ton immediately. They lost their top 5 freshman recruits. They lost a lot of their 2D. Yeah, they did. Of course, that program is completely – they're the biggest joke of any Power 4 program, especially considering they're in Los Angeles. But a place like UCLA is only concerned about its politics. It doesn't care about athletics. Therefore, I'm no longer a supporter of UCLA. But, yeah, they did. They lost, Wayne. They lost about a dozen guys, like right off the bat. Right off the bat. Tech players have waited a little bit for that to happen. Phil Elmatian joins us as well on Monday, by the way. Looking forward to that. So Coach Elmatian called me. He reached out and then he called me. He was just flipping around YouTube and he saw the show come up. And he was like, well, what is this? And he'll tell the story on Monday. And he started watching, and now he watches all the time. Coach, good morning. We'll see you on Monday. I'm looking forward to that. You want to talk about a guy who, yeah, Paul, who knew? L.A., political? Huh, go figure. Don't know their arsh from a hole in the ground in La La Land. But, yeah, we're going to have Matt Roan. Well, Jermaine will be here. Matt Roan and Phil Elmatian going to join us on Monday. That's going to be fun. You talk about just diving into football now. He's got a lot of opinions about the way things are today and a lot of opinions of what's going on in Blacksburg. He spent quite a bit of time there. So that's going to be fun on Monday. We already got your Monday queued up. How about that? That's good for me because I usually scramble a little bit on Sunday for that because, you know. Well, you know what, Prometheus? I get it. He's not supporting Tech if he doesn't get some clarity. Everybody should be frustrated. There's just so much weird. And I'm telling you, you know what? And I'm not trying to dog people over there. But the more I hear from behind the scenes, from people who are around it, I'm hearing they're like it's like a dog chasing their tail right now. That's exactly how it was described to me yesterday. Yesterday. However it's been presented and whatever's going on, you should be concerned right now if you're a Tech supporter. I think that's probably the best way I can say it. New measurement for college sports, DEL, dollar effort level. Yeah. Mike Burnap said it 3 weeks ago. He figured it out 3 weeks ago watching Tech play. Yeah, it was the Vanderbilt game. And I think that's where we're going to be. That's where we're going to be. The true test for the rest of the year at Virginia Tech, can Montgomery plug and play and manage a portal in this new era? Absolutely. I mean, whatever's left of the roster, he's going to have to figure it out. And I'm sure he's already assessed it. See, we don't know, but he already knows who's leaving. You know, it's not public knowledge. They're keeping it very tight. But he knows. He knows what his situation's going to look like. I haven't gotten clarity on that, Wayne. You know, we had we used to always have the Radford basketball roster on the radio show. And I'm not sure how that falls nowadays. If it becomes a situation with their NIL, then no, we won't. Because, you know, I'm a startup. I don't have NIL money to hand out to guys who are already making a lot of money. So from what I have learned, then the answer is probably going to be no. They won't be on. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. They need a new AD to come in immediately and cool this thing down. It was reiterated to me also yesterday that Whit Babcock's retiring October 9th. I'm just going to stay with that because regardless of what it looks like right now, it's not. I don't think that's what it's going to look like in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it is. By the way, something else reiterated. It actually was a busy day. Dan Mullen is not coming to Blacksburg. I have that now from 2 sources. So all these sites, and like I said, Wayne, I didn't finish my sentence earlier, my thought earlier. Imagine that. Wayne sent me this site. I don't know who it was. I didn't really look that closely. I saw the headline and I immediately. But it said the Toledo coach is going to be the brand new coach at Virginia Tech. It's already a done deal. They don't even know who's on the committee. Remember dog chasing its tail? The unfinished circle. That's what it is right now over there. Yeah, they don't have anybody on the committee in place. They don't have any kind of organizational chart finalized, but they've already found their coach. Utter and complete clickbait. Utter and complete clickbait. Just don't fall for it. And don't fall for any site that's telling you that Dan Mullen's expressed interest. No, he hasn't. You know why? Because he and his family love living in Vegas at where he is at the age of his life. And by the way, he's building that program. Doing a good job. He's doing a really good job. I think I don't know what people base it on. Is it because he worked for the ACC Network and he came to Blacksburg once or twice and talked about how great of a place it was, how beautiful it is? Because it is. I mean, is that what you're basing it on? Oh. But no, they haven't even begun to vet any coaches. I don't know how much more clearly you can say that, or I can say that. And why anyone would think that any site who would claim that has any credibility, I don't know. But they don't even have the organizational process churned up yet. The more people I talk to, the more I feel good about my stance that hiring the general manager first is a mistake. Because there's now a second source that told me that Dan Mullen has no interest in Tech, said the same thing that my first source said about how any coach who's a current head coach, and it's going to be a head coach somewhere, or a former head coach, that may think about this job is not going to want to come in when a GM is already there. And I don't care about, you can talk about, hey, the coach is still going to have the power. That's not going to be the perception. And then you're going to come in and you're going to interview. And you're going to interview with whom? Not the AD if it's the current AD. Is the GM going to have total power over the program? Do you answer to the GM? Are you answering to the president? And you have to ask all these questions with anybody you're vetting and anybody you're talking to before you can even talk about the football and building the program, raising money for NIL, type of whatever. So I just don't fall for it. We're not even remotely there yet. But when I have people, these are people. Again, I'm not saying I'm the quintessential source. I'm just sharing with you stuff that I feel comfortable with. I'm never going to come on and say Rick Watson's absolutely the partner. You ignore it. That's stupid. I'm not going to do that. I've never been that way. But I am telling you things from people that work in Power 4 conferences. The coaching community circle is very tight. They communicate all the time. I see it with college basketball because that's what I cover. But the football coaches are even more tight because Division I in college football, it's power leagues. It's smaller than it is, for all the college basketball conferences. So I just share things with you that I feel are from very credible sources. Now, however things turn out, who knows? I'm not saying it's absolute. But I'm telling you this for a fact. Anyone who's saying like that site that Tech has their coach hired, they're just making it up because they're desperate to get some attention. That's all. I think someone is feeding local press info just to test the waters. I don't know. I know Travis Wells isn't like that. The head sports information director. Because, he was a reporter. So he's seen it from both sides. I don't think Trav is the guy. Maybe so. There might be people that are doing that. But they're not there. They're not organized. Yes, the banana in the tailpipe. You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe? God, what a great scene that is. In terms of rewatchable movies, the original Beverly Hills Cop, the uncut version, don't find the edited version. It's kind of like watching Smokey and the Bandit, any of that stuff, is I can watch it every time. Man, did that launch Eddie Murphy into superstardom or what? Jeez. Prometheus says, people saying Tech needs to take their time is wrong. The fan base is not going to wait. Actually, I'm going to go opposite of that, Prometheus. I think they do need to take their time. Now, I don't mean drag this thing out over 5 or 6 months, but they have to make sure what they're doing and get their plan in order correctly in their minds anyway. See, they're coming out of an AD who has failed the football program in every way. So they have to make sure this next step is going to be all the right things that they think that they know right now and talk about it and organize it. They know the money is going to be there. That's the biggest part. So at the end of this month, when that's officially approved, that's the biggest part. That's going to happen. And I believe that is played into why we haven't had any news or information about Whit Babcock, other than he won't be involved with the football situation. But I'm going to stand by the fact that I think it's a mistake to hire the GM first. Unless they just come right out and tell the coach, we have a GM, but he's only worried about money. But then again, why would you bring him in just for a limited role? That's going to be a job that's going to pay quite a bit of money. I will have to look that up and see what some of these GMs in play. We may not know. They may not even, heck, who knows? They may not even have that kind of a salary posted at schools. And that's another good point, Paul. They do have to wait. You don't know which coaches may be available. Yeah, September 30th, I think we'll announce the money. I'll talk to Will about that here in a second. I can't say for sure, Wayne, they're going to bring up Whit's future, but yeah, that we'll find out for sure about the amount of money. Yeah. Oh, will they have it? What is today? That's Monday, isn't it? Or next Tuesday? The GM structure? I don't know if they'll have it organized that quickly or not. We'll see. We'll see. But the money part, yeah. Yeah. And maybe it'll have the trickle down effect. Maybe we'll have like the money and then things will start falling into place a little bit. In our McClellan Chiropractic chat room, they should have fired Whit on day one. They should be close to hiring a new AD. How do you move on? This is bizarre. Yeah, bizarre is a good word. I don't understand it. I've tried to rationalize it. And the only thing I can chalk it up to is they wanted to wait for the official decision on the cash and personal relationship that he has with President Sanders. That's the only way I can rationalize it. Because it's nothing at all personal against Whit at all. It's just looking at how this thing would work in general about things. Check out my column today in the Patriot. Rodney, what'd you think? Did you okay? I don't know if you read it or not yet. Just talks about how I think the ACC is doing pretty well without Clemson. But see, I wrote that and had it done, and then, Teal crushed me with. He reminded me how bad they've been in games against Power 4 teams this year. Oops. Yeah, I agree. Prometheus, I think Georgia Tech's right there in your league, and that's a terrific example. Just gone the Georgia Tech way. We had 2 announcements, the same press conference. Coach is gone, AD's gone. We got to fix this right now. And now look at them. It's not only the fact that they're undefeated and they have a brilliant, what's turned out to be a brilliant head coaching hire. Brent Key is legit. But now if you look at their money, they went on a crusade and people got inspired because they were now dedicating themselves because they did clean house. They are raising a ton of cash. They are never going to want for money down there, ever. Ever. I think Tech needs to define what the role of the GM. Yeah, 100%. Let's hear it. I could not agree more, James. Yeah. I would love to get some kind of insight on that. That would be great. I think that would help people. Steven, go Georgia Tech. Absolutely. Yeah. Steven, you're probably the most loyal and longtime Georgia Tech fan I've known. You were back with me the first run of the show. You know, you lived it. You went through it. It's a tough thing to do, let everybody go. But you have to. And that's what they did. And it worked out. I mean, the money I hear that they have is pretty impressive. And that's Atlanta. It's a city. A lot of these kids that are going to be transferred and look for new gigs are going to be attracted to a city life more than a more rural place. Not all cases, but some cases. More connections, more opportunities to enhance their NIL potentially. So I don't think Georgia Tech's going anywhere, even after Haynes King. They better do whatever they can to make sure they don't lose Brent Key. Steven, you're going to have SEC power traditional schools coming after Brent Key soon. You know this already. And good luck trying to keep him because they're going to have more money than most places. It seems like the fans are the only ones calling for Witt's fire. The media doesn't seem to be saying these things. Yeah, I don't understand, and I don't want to come across like I'm saying they have to fire him. But nothing personal, but just in terms of the general makeup of it, I don't see how you can continue. I don't see how that's going to work. I talked about creating sideshows and steps that don't need to be there. Why would you do that? Why are they intentionally doing that? And it seems like they're doing the same thing with the GM. I mean, say you have a coach. Let's just say, for instance, Matt Campbell, who wanted to come talk to Tech about this job 4 years ago. And they said, nah. Is he going to want to come in and, oh, how you doing? Nice to meet you, President Sands. Oh, hey, Whit, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, hey, GM guy. What's your background again? And what is it you're going to be doing? Do I go through you for my personnel when I go to the portal? Am I going to you? What do I do for money? What am I doing? See what I'm saying? They consider all these things when these coaches, because they're in a good spot. I mean, he's got an extension. He's in the Big 12. He's comfortable. He's got everything that he's ever going to need there at a place that he loves. So if you're going to make a move, especially pick up your family, move halfway across the country, you got to make sure it's the ideal situation for you to be able to come in and have control over the program that you're committing to. And this is why I've been told twice now by Power 4 coaches that no head coach that has options is going to look at Tech and have them at the top of their list because they don't want to come in and meet the GM as opposed to helping hire the GM. These people know what the hell they're talking about because each of them worked for coaches that hired the GM. So Tech can do whatever they want. They're going to do whatever they want. But it hasn't worked. They've been doing what they've wanted to do since Coach Beamer retired. And then Coach Beamer told you how great he really was, because even a guy like Justin Fuente was able to win for a year and 3/4 of another year because of Coach Beamer's players. Reggie says the key for Georgia Tech coach and the program is going to be quarterback position. I believe they can, Reggie. And I love Haynes King. My two favorite college football players, everybody knows, Diego Pavia and Haynes King. I hope Haynes King can stay healthy. But, Reggie, I think they will, as long as, first of all, they have to keep Brent Key. But they're going to have the money, man. They're going to have other Power 4 quarterbacks. I think they will. I think they'll be able to plug and play. I really do. They will be able to plug and play. And that's what Tech needs to be able to do. They need to be able to have a coach and a situation, a setup to plug and play going forward. And yes, it's not a huge city, but it can be done. But you have to have the right people in place. This all goes back to people who are making a lot of money and made bad decisions. I'm not sure it ever was about money, as much as it's been put out there that I just don't have the money to compete. I mean, that's a pretty good scapegoat in today's world when all you do is hear about money and athletics. Just don't have the money to compete. How could we compete? How about you were making a lot of money? You were making a ton of money, most money than many of us who are chatting today on this program will be able to ever remotely imagine having in their bank account, and you failed at your job. There's a difference. Are there certain programs that don't have it? Absolutely. But that failure at doing your job was never more on display than it was when Old Dominion, who doesn't have any money. And I went back one time and I watched a couple possessions, and I tried to look at the 22 guys on the field. This is Old Dominion. So it was kind of easy to know that Brent Pry wasn't going to be around the next day. They have no money. None. They were better than Virginia Tech at 14, in my mind, at 14 of the 22 positions. And you watch the game. And I'm thinking, this can't happen. This can't be allowed to continue. And it's why we went on the live stream and had the skull session. 14 of the 22 at Old Dominion, who's got very little. How many people would swap quarterbacks? How many people would swap all 5 offensive linemen with the Monarchs if you're a Virginia Tech fan? It's okay to admit it. This program has not been run properly by people who are paid a hell of a lot of money to do it. The fans have been awesome. The most consistent thing about this program has been the fans, the supporters, the people who want to support. And that's just the way it rolls. That's just the way it rolls. So, yeah, in our McClellan chiropractic chat room, which is absolutely exploding, as always. We were talking at work. Fuentes was a better coach, while Pry's a better person. Fuentes looking better every day now. Yeah. As a coach, yeah, he's a much better football coach. Much better. All right. Got a busy show today. Mike Ashley, Wes Durham, Jen the Gamecock Girl joining us now on the program. I think he's ready to go. I see him down in the green room. He has his tea and his crumpets ready to go. Yeah. Where in the world is Will
Can't
Stewart?
hear you, Rick. Can't hear you, man.
Oh, okay, you're in your car, aren't you? Okay. Well, I'll put you down. Let me know. Text me.
Shit.
I can hear him, but he can't hear me. It looks like he's being hauled off to prison. What's going on with Will? He's mobile today. Well, we'll get him back on. What was that? Was he in a paddy wagon? Was that what that was? Yeah, the Curt Cignetti situation. Wow. How do you live that down if you're the AD? Quote, nah, he's probably too old. That's what I was told. I was told that was back when we had the radio show during the whole COVID thing and the whole transition was happening. And that's what I was told from reliable people. You think there's been one big-time booster at Indiana that's looked at Curt Cignetti and said, he's too old? Yeah, that old man took him to the playoff last year. He's going to do it again this year probably. Is Indiana the second best team in the Big Ten after Ohio State? From the old guy? Right? Yeah, Filmation. People are excited. Filmation is going to be on the program, and I'm looking forward to it on Monday. Yeah, Old Dominion quarterback became a millionaire. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely he did. But 14 of the positions were better on the field wearing that white and light blue at Lane Stadium. And that's when you knew it was over. For sure. We kind of knew. We were pretty sure, but boy, we were really sure at that point. All right, let's see here. Now can he hear me? Will Stewart.
I can hear you. Could you hear me before?
I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. So where are you?
No, that would have been interesting. I am traveling at my sister-in-law's house in Raleigh.
Oh, okay.
Thinking about going to the game tonight. Not sure about it because there's a forecast for some rain. Plus, do I really want to go in the stadium and watch NC State run up and down the field on Virginia Tech? I don't know.
Well, let's talk about some things here as we get closer and closer and closer. As Will's now like, oh yeah, ooh, he's setting the mood lighting. All right. Let me ask you personally. Of course, Will Stewart created his passion. Hey, the lights are going down. Well, heck, let's do this right. So back in the mid-'90s, of course, this gentleman started Tech Sideline, and in large part because of his passion for Virginia Tech athletics, primarily the football program, and now it's grown into a $1 trillion industry. So how are you feeling personally about things? I don't ask you that enough. How does Will Stewart personally feel about the things that he hears and where we are now? And I'm not even talking about the rest of the season because we kind of know, it's going to change so much when these kids opt out probably on Monday. But how are you feeling about the vibe around the program right now?
That's interesting. That's a good question. It's a critical point. Let me take these off because it's reflected.
You're more handsome. Don't hide those beautiful eyes.
It's a critical point in Virginia Tech athletics. Everything that was built up, and we can talk specifically about football. Everything that was built up over the course of how many years Frank was coaching, 15. How the 27 or 28 years in a row they went to a bowl game. That's gone. It is gone. This is a team that's going to go probably 2-10 this year. And it's been a long time since they were that bad. The thing that is not gone is the fan support. And I think that's the big thing. That's the big difference. One of my favorite stats, because it says something, is that, Virginia Tech sold out every game from the last game of 1998 to all the way through 2012, I think, if I remember correctly. It was a very long sellout streak. And even I remember a game in 1996 where they were playing Southwest Louisiana, and Virginia Tech had won the Sugar Bowl, and they were on the previous year, and they were on their way to going to the Orange Bowl that year. And relatively late in the year, they had a game against Southwest Louisiana, and something like 47,000 fans showed up, and that was it. And that was a program that was really good. So that tells you even when they were really good, they didn't have the fan support back then that they do now. That fan support has been difficult to translate into dollars on the scale of some of the other programs that Virginia Tech has to compete with. You look at Clemson. Clemson has a smaller living alumni base. They have a much larger donation base.
Right.
Because it's in their culture. So you asked me how I feel, and I don't feel good about the program. It's been mismanaged by the administration and by the coaches for going on 12 or 13 years now. But the fan support is still there, but they need to learn how to leverage that into the dollars that are necessary to compete, because they'll show up and they'll make noise. That's not a problem. And so I think that's why it's the biggest inflection point in Tech athletics in not my lifetime, because I lived through the 80s when they were on probation, and that was a big inflection point.
Yeah, it was.
But certainly since I've started running Tech Sideline, this is absolutely the most important part in the history of Virginia Tech athletics and in the history of this business that I grew that now employs 5 people full time. This has to work, or the fan interest will start to erode, and that will mean lost subscribers for us. And Tech Sideline is just a microcosm of a lot of businesses around our area. There are a lot of businesses that are very dependent on Virginia Tech football being successful.
Absolutely.
And Virginia Tech athletics being successful. So that's what I think.
There you go. Very honest from Will Stewart, the owner, curator of Tech Sideline, as Tech gets ready to take on in-state to open up conference play. A lot of rumors, a lot of scuttlebutt about players who aren't going to be around, maybe even for the game tomorrow, and how it's going to look different on Monday. No too deep on the chart kind of tells you that they were kind of giving a hint without making an official announcement, as some of you, as Andy was talking about and Mike Burnett. So it's going to feel much different, I think, after this game on Saturday, isn't it, roster-wise?
Yeah, because this is game. Well, it's game 5 actually. So some of the guys that are sitting out are. Did you talk to your people about the availability chart and all that stuff that was released?
Yeah, go ahead though. Yeah, you guys released. I saw you released it last night, but I got into it a little bit. But yeah, the availability chart.
So let me go look it up, and so give me a second.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Because we've got it embedded in an article here. All right, so out. Quentin Reddish, Joshua Clark, Keelan Adams, Chance Wiggins, Sherrod Koval, Jeff Overton Jr., Caleb Brown, Caleb Woodson, Sherrod Henderson, James Jeanette, Brody Meadows, L.J. Booker, I don't even know who that is, Joseph Hobbs, I don't know who that is, Harrison St. Germain, and Andrew Hanchuk. Those guys are all out. Questionable, Shamarius Peterkin, Laith Ganem, Jaden Muskrat, and Johnny Garrett. Those guys are legit hurt, I believe.
Right.
And probable is Takai Heath, and Gabe Williams. Not every one of those guys is hurt, Rick, as you can imagine. Some of them are preserving their red shirt because they've played 4 games.
Right.
So, we'll see where all that goes. And that's a lot of names, and we've heard other names that aren't on that list, and there are going to be, for those of you that are really good watching rosters, I'm not. They've already removed Dante Lovett from the roster, of course, because he entered the portal days ago. And there are 3 other guys we're told they're going to remove from the roster, the online roster, this morning. I don't think those guys were listed on that list. So this is going to start happening. To your point.
Yeah. And I think it kind of took people. I don't think Tucker Holloway was one of those guys people expected to see. I got a lot of people shooting me text messages, it's like, wow. I was like, well, don't be surprised about any name you might see. All right.
Yeah, that's good advice. I didn't see that coming either. But then when it was announced, I wasn't surprised because I remember sitting there in the last game thinking, he's not getting a lot of run. He's not playing a lot of wide receiver. He seems to have been, for whatever reason, passed on the depth chart. I did not expect it, but once it was announced, I was like, oh, okay, that tracks.
Yeah, kind of made sense. Kind of made some sense. All right, so it's so much fun to know how you guys are viewing this game. What is the consensus amongst the Tech Sideline folks about the score and how this thing's going to play out?
Well, we all picked NC State to win, but I think the biggest thing to take away from our preview of the game is NC State's got a really talented offense, but they have their defense is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Virginia Tech's defense has been struggling. So I think that I'm not going to predict a shootout or anything like that, but I do think it will be an entertaining game. I think there'll be a lot of points scored by NC State. I'm not sure about Virginia Tech. I don't, Kyron Jones was 27 of 32 last weekend, which is pretty crazy, but it was Wofford,
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know where their offense is going to land, but I think most of our guys picked Tech to score somewhere in the 20s and NC State to score somewhere in the 30s. So that's my hot take, is that there's a potential, given that neither one of the defenses is good, for this to be an entertaining game to watch.
I do too. I think they're going to hang around just because of how bad NC State's defense is. 100%. I think it's going to be that kind of game. What about the fans on the fan pulse? What's the percent? I like to break down the percentages. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Well, when I looked last night, it was oddly enough, only about 60% of them are picking NC State to win.
Really?
So let's pull that poll up. Well, more than that, I'm sorry. 58% picking NC State to win by 11 or more points. So 58%. And then another 23% picking NC State to win by 1 to 10. So that adds up to 81% are picking NC State to win. The other 19% are picking Tech to win. Now that's only – so this is an indicator here, Rick. That's only 695 votes so far. And we posted that yesterday. And usually by this time, we have about 1,000 votes in that.
Wow.
Vote. So what does that tell you, my friend?
Yeah.
Starting to tune out a little bit?
Yeah. Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. And now, full disclosure, I spent the early part of the week in Myrtle Beach, not paying a whole lot of attention to things. And now we're in Raleigh, so I haven't been on top of things. But so what I'm getting at is I don't know what numbers our podcasts have been doing this week relative to what they usually do. But I think there is a general slowing down right now in terms of interest of what's happening on the field. I think people know what's coming. I think they know a lot of opt-outs are coming. And I'm sorry, but a lot of losses are coming too. It's been funny because being here in North Carolina, I've had a few people ask me, does Virginia Tech play UNC this year? And I'm like, unfortunately, no. That might be an opportunity for a win, but no, they don't get that one this year.
Jen's mad at you. Jen's saying you were in South Carolina and you didn't tell her? Wow.
Well,
Seems like
it was just barely South Carolina.
Seems like an immense oversight by you, Will. I mean, I'm just saying.
So is she talking? Is she texting you, or is she in the?
No, she's right there. She's the Uptown Sax Coalition on the McClellan Chiropractic chat room.
Sax, S-A-X.
Yeah, sax. Yeah, saxophone. Yes. Yeah.
Just want to be clear about that. I was
like,
wow, she's putting that out there, huh?
Nope, she said sax. Okay. Yeah, it's sax. She's just sore because she's now losing by a large amount in our head-to-head game pick'ems.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, she's not happy. She's not happy.
I will listen to the details of that later.
Heard from another source yesterday that the retirement of Whit Babcock is imminent. Are you hearing the same thing still, or how's that going inside the circles there with Tech Sideline. That was kind of split right down the middle last week.
Yeah, we talked about that debate, so I haven't been in the office. I don't have any more new information on that except cough October 9th cough. You know, we're hearing things
there
about
you
October
go.
9th.
There you go. Yep.
I think it's a battle going on to figure out if they're going to keep him on, if they are going to keep him on, in what capacity. I do not see him continuing as the full-blown athletic director in charge of the football program, all that stuff. He's advising on the hire when the hire eventually happens. They're still putting together the search committee. You know,
exactly.
I don't know when that is going to. I don't know when that's going to get decided. I think fairly soon. So then the search committee will start looking. But I would just characterize it that way. That I think it's being debated what his role is going to be. I think he wants to stay on. I've been in my communications with people who are at higher levels over there. I have told them the fans have no confidence in him, none. So let's drill down into that. They've announced a plan to improve funding for the athletics department by $50 million next year and then $60 million in ensuing years. And half of that money is going to come from donations from the fans. So it's a little disingenuous to say we're going to increase funding by $60 million a year, but oh, by the way, $30 million of that is coming from you.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to people at the higher levels, I say, if you think you're going to bring in another $30 million a year from the fans, you're not going to do it with Witt as the athletic director.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
I'm always very clear about this. I like Witt. Witt has been good to us, but that is just a bald ass fact that is not going to work. And I think most of them know that, but I'm not sure all of them know that.
Sure.
I think Witt's working very hard behind the scenes to stay connected somehow. So I don't have an answer for that. I think we're just going to have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. It's a great point, though, as usual, that you make.
So to put that in perspective,
yeah.
Wait a minute. To put that in perspective, they're currently raising about $30 million a year from fans. So they're talking about doubling it. And so if they're going to do that, they need to properly. And one of the things I have heard from people connected over there is they are fully aware that the Hokie Club in its current configuration is not going to be able to do that. That they need to really staff it up with experienced fundraisers, and they need to improve their approach to fundraising, you know, and that's easy for me to say that because I don't do that for a living. But so those are two things that are going to have to happen. You can't really have Witt be the figurehead of the athletic department like he has been, and you have to get really serious as a fundraising operation. So that's the other thing people need to watch is what happens there, because if you're going to double your fundraising, you got to really improve how you do it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's a lot to think about. A lot of people will be thinking about that as they watch the game tomorrow night. So let me know if you decide to go. That's kind of cool. And I hope you have safe travel. You coming back Sunday?
Yeah, we're coming back Sunday. And I just, I don't know. It's Friday, right? I don't need to decide yet.
No, you got plenty of time. Plenty of time.
So my oldest son, who used to be our podcast producer, he lives here in Raleigh. He works here in Raleigh. He's been.
Cool. Very cool.
And so I haven't gotten an answer out of him yet if he's going to the game or if any of his friends are. But I'm seriously thinking about texting him and saying, "You just want to go to a sports bar and watch this?"
Yeah.
Because it would be, we'd be inside, we'd be dry, and we'd be able to watch other games. There's going to be some good games set.
A lot of good games on what Tech's on Saturday night.
Yeah, so that's absolutely. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, stay safe, my friend. Great stuff as always, and we will reconvene next week.
Yeah, that was quick, but I don't have a whole lot to add. I just wanted to get that bit in there about the fundraising.
No, that's good stuff. No, that's really good stuff. Really good stuff. So that'll get that'll get chat going. That'll get chat going.
All right. Well, yeah. Looking forward to watching you and Jen later, man. We'll see how that all goes.
All right, brother. Stay safe, man. Good to see you.
All right, man. Thanks, Rick.
All right, there you go. Will Stewart from Tech Sideline, the quintessential source for all things Tech sports, especially football. I'm glad he got out of the paddy wagon. That's what it looked like when he first joined us. Expected to see a siren kind of reflecting off the top of his head. It's a great point he makes. How about that? I hadn't thought about that. I didn't brought that up. But, yeah, the customer is – you need to have the customer want to continue to be a customer. And if you're sitting there and you're saying we're going to just do this regardless of what the customers want, well, we still want you to give money. He just said, what, double the money? It's just not going to happen. There's no realistic world that's going to happen. That's a great point. A great point. Someone who always makes a great point. Joining us now on the program. It's Open Mike. With Mike Ashley. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, brother, can you spare $229 million?
Yeah, hang on. It's right back here under my shelf. Yeah, we got it. A lot going on, man. A lot going on all over the place. A lot going on in Blacksburg. We'll see what happens with all that. But Mike, in you're a longtime sports everything and fan is first and foremost a fan. What Will just said, right? You got to keep the customer happy. And then he's going to these higher ups saying, look, you realize you're not going to raise the money you think you're going to raise if you leave things as they are, right? That's an important point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, I think fundraising has always been a problem down there. My experience for athletics at Virginia Tech and over at Radford too. There's a limited market. There's just not that many people, and the economy hasn't been as good in recent years as it was at some times, and people aren't willing to part with those dollars. Tech had a great thing going for a long time with tying into parking and the membership in the hockey club and all those things. But right now, the fans, I sense the fans I know are pretty disgruntled with what's happened there. You want them gruntled. You don't want them disgruntled. So, we'll see. I've been thinking about this week. You guys got when I went over there to work in 1985. 85. I started in the summer and started selling ads and preparing to write for the Hokie Huddler with my good pal Chris Colston, the old Hokie Huddler.
Wow,
I think is inside Tech Sports now, which Bill Dooley started because he hated the coverage he was getting from the Roanoke Times, so they wanted more of a somewhat of a house organ. But we were really free to write the things, what was going on. So it was a good deal because Coach Dooley didn't pay much attention to us. He didn't pay much attention to the rest of the athletic department he was director of either, which is the thing I learned when I got over there. And I saw that basically the non-revenue sports were not only non-revenue, they weren't getting much money at all. The soccer team had no scholarships. Other teams had no scholarship. Poor Jerry Chenet, back at that time coaching wrestling and soccer, he really had no scholarships to recruit with. He was just recruiting with the value of coming to Virginia Tech and those kind of things. And it was remarkable to me how that athletic department at that time worked. And more so, I don't know if this name rings a bell with only longtime fans. Maybe Clyde Walker was Coach Dooley's right-hand man, an old football coach who'd come in to run the business side. And famously, I remember Clyde said to us, Chris and I, at one point that was the worst year of his life. running the money side thing. Now, the other thing the thing that happened when I signed up over there was, anybody remember the Jack Bogacik series in the Roanoke Times, 40 parts on the financial troubles in the athletic department, 40 stories.
40. Wow.
Different things that were wrong every day, one run. And that started in August. Well, I started in July. I needed Bogacik to write that piece a little bit earlier, although admittedly, I would not trade that experience for anything, the experience I got there. But I'm telling you, you talk about financial problems. Chris and I would show up and go to our office there in Castle Coliseum second floor off the basketball arena in a back hallway there. And there were days we wondered if the power was going to get cut off because Tech was having problem paying bills. And it was really, really a tough time. There's a lot of pressure on us me to sell ads, which really wasn't the best use of my abilities at that point in my career. Maybe still not, because I'm really not the guy that should talk about athletics. And I will do a rant later on your show, as we talked about how now when you talk about athletics, it all comes back to money. And that's really not much fun. I would rather just talk about players and coaching strategies and everything. And so here we are.
Well, that's true. I mean, and I mentioned this earlier. It's factual. I know you have to have it, but it's also a convenient crutch to use for unsuccessful athletic departments to always just go to that. We don't have enough money. How can we? There's a reason we can't do our jobs correctly. We don't have enough money. Well, maybe you're making a lot of money and you're not doing your job correctly, and you're looking for somebody else to blame or something else to kind of point to get the heat off of you. And I know it's true, and you're 100% right. I know, but Old Dominion didn't have a dime, and yet I counted 14 out of 22 positions. They were physically better than Virginia Tech. I went back and watched just to make sure I had it right. I mean, that should never happen. The Blacksburg, they have money. They have not chosen correctly in many different ways, right? That's what it boils down to.
Well, and what's incredible is like my experience with Old Dominion football was I used to use that as the excuse when, mostly students would come to my office over there in Radford and say, hey, why don't we have football? And at that time, I would go, well, look at Old Dominion. Old Dominion has a football stadium already on their campus, Foreman Field, which Tech used to go down and play the Oyster Bowl there every year. But that was, and they played field hockey in this football stadium and soccer, but they didn't play football in it. So they had the stadium. They had the market there in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, not only for recruiting, but financially, all those businesses, all those places they could go sell to people in a populous area like that. And an alumnus had already put $1 million in the bank to start football at that point. And I went, well, here at Radford, we have none of those things. So, yeah, I don't think football would be very realistic here. And they would skulk out of my office. And actually, and please tell Wes Durham when he comes on that that's when the linebacker fund started. I had this little bank I'd won with a number 54 that it was he had a slot in his back, ironically for number 54, a linebacker, obviously. And when people would come in, I say, you want to start football? Here, why don't you donate to the linebacker fund? And you drop a quarterback into the back there. And, we start, and that took on a life of its own over time. At one point, I think the last year, my year of the linebacker fund, we raised $700, mostly in change.
That's right.
And donated it to the Athletic Association each year. And I loved looking in the program of all the donations and seeing the linebacker fund. So maybe I'll have to bring that back.
You gave me one of those banks. I don't know if you remember. You gave me the linebacker guy. I have it. Can't find. I know where it is. I got it. But he had he had the blue jersey, he had the red pants, and he had the blue helmet. And I still have the sticker, Mike's Linebacker Fund, on the one you gave me. I still have it.
Well, good. Well, yeah, I think I've got the original one. That must have been a copy.
You do.
The graphic artist in our office had put the progressive R on the helmet, which was a nice touch. And since then, I actually was able to. They mailed me something that had the new R logo on it, and I've changed it over. So who knows? Maybe the linebacker fund will make an appearance sometime soon. We'll see.
Hey, Valerie Beamer says Jackson Beamer says hi to Mike and the Cone Dome.
Oh, wow.
Wow. What's that?
Oh, Jackson Beamer. I went to high school with Andrew Lewis. He was at least a year ahead of me, but I didn't get to know him. He played for Edgewood Christian, the first baseman of the softball team, could stretch. But he is, if Salem Church League had Hall of Fame, Jackson Beamer would be a first ballot Hall of Fame softball player, softball player. He was great, just a great guy. What a great family, and Hokie through and through. And just I don't see some people like that nearly enough anymore. So that's so nice of Valerie to say that. It's really nice memory. So please tell Jackson Goober says hey.
Now you were a star in the basketball church / rec league.
Yeah, star. Yeah, I was the only one keeping stats too. So
you played softball, right?
Yes. I was one of the great of my generation no hit, good field, slow pitch softball players. and I started out. Recently a year ago or so, I got Jeff Beeler to rehab my glove. I highly recommend. This is an official endorsement here. If you have an old baseball, softball glove that needs work, Jeff Beeler is the man. He is the man. So he put my glove back together, which was held together at this point late on. I hadn't used it in years, but there was a safety pin in it and an old shoestring that was holding the web together. And Jeff asked me, how old is this glove? And I went, you want to know how old that is? When I got it, I played center field. I used to, it was a Gary Maddox autograph. Everybody remember Gary Maddox? Center field?
Gary Maddox, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah. Gary Maddox autograph. And I said, yes. And I like to say at that time that water covered 2/3 of the earth and I covered the other third. And that's still true. Only now I cover a third of the earth without even moving. So, that's.
Got a surprise for you, Mike. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready for an on-air surprise? Joining us now on the program.
Oh, my God. Look at that skinny guy there.
Hey, Wes Durham joins us, the voice of the ACC Network and the Atlanta Falcons. What's up, Wes? Good to see you, brother.
Amazing. Ashley already talking about Gary Maddox gloves and Jeff Beeler fixing them. What the hell am I doing on here? Okay.
Mike,
good to see you guys.
You too, brother. Good to see you. It's been too long. You look great, man. Good Lord.
Thanks.
Look at you.
You do.
Just trying to stay competitive, boys. That's all I'm doing. Just trying to stay in the game.
I just keep the lights low. So
I hear you.
I look like mafioso on here or something.
Hey, Mike, what's the story? I don't know it. I didn't tell Mike or Wes about it. What's the story where you stayed at Wes's house? What was that all about? He's laughing already.
Well, Radford, always being ahead of broadcasting trends, and you can see that by the lineage of our play-by-play guys. Yourself and obviously Wes, and of course Dave Hunziker, and even Dave Bissett, who's a Radford legend. That's varsity Dave Bissett, not junior varsity Dave Bissett, by the way, the younger one that wrote for the paper. Wes and I were doing a women's basketball broadcast back when people didn't do that usually. We could put our number one guy, Wes, we go down to Durham, and my first time into Cameron Indoor Stadium, which begs the question: is there a football arena, an outdoor arena? I don't know how that works in Durham, but anyway, we go down there, and Wes, as I remember, that was the Roz Gross game where she stole a pass.
That's the Roz Gross game, correct?
We went into the Radford Hall of Fame recently. She stole a pass, scored a layup late, and Radford walks out of Cameron with a women's basketball upset there. Now, the part I'm most proud of people know I was a Tar Heel fan. So Wes and I pack up our radio gear as fast as we can as Duke, the men's team, is warming up for their game against Citadel. They're getting ready to play in Cameron, and Wes and I pack everything up and drive as fast as we can to Chapel Hill to see Carolina play Old Dominion. And that night afterwards, we stayed at Wes's boyhood home there, and people start talking to me about, oh, I'm a big Tar Heel fan. I said, yeah, I grew up a Tar Heel fan too. Yeah, and then there was that time I stayed at Woody Durham's house. So, yeah, I got the trump card and use those conversations.
It's I will say this: those women's basketball games we did in the late '80s, my first couple of years in particular. While Oliver Purnell was trying to build the basketball fortune up and things like that, Rick, we had these scenarios where we would do a handful of the women's games. We ended up doing the tournament in Nashville one year, things like that, and we went to Duke. And the game that the women played at Duke, they lost late. And part of the reason Charlene's team lost that year was Katie Meyer, who later became the great basketball coach at the University of Miami.
Yeah.
And Mike might remember this. Debbie Leonard was coaching Duke's women's team at the time. And Katie Meyer went for like 30 and 12 rebounds and 9 assists and all this. And so I became friends with Katie Meyer when she became the coach at Miami, and I went to television. I didn't do much women's basketball, but invariably I would have Miami games and Katie Meyer would be there. And I used to see Katie Meyer and go, your players have no idea how damn good you were. And she would don't say a word. And I'm like, you're crazy. It's unbelievable. So I told her team one time, she called me up after practice. She said, this is Wes Durham. He does the games on TV, da-da-da. What'd you want to tell my team? I said, you guys have no idea what a killer your coach was when she played. And then, Mike, the Roz Gross story, do you remember that Sylvia Hatchell did not coach Carolina that night because she had just had her child? She had given birth to her child. Andrew Calder, who was her longtime assistant, coached that game. So, I don't know, about 10, 12 years ago, Sylvia came up to me and she said, well, I never knew that you were the Radford announcer the night that my son was born and Andrew coached the team. And I said, yeah. And I go, that's probably one of your losses. You might not want to, the way the game ended, you weren't there the whole bit. She goes, oh, I don't count that one. I don't count that one at all. I'm like, why not? He was the interim coach. Now, that's on Andrew's record. He'll be all right. That's on Andrew. She's unbelievable. Anyway, those are great memories. And then there's the whole story. We don't have nearly enough time for Amarillo, Texas, and the women's NIT. There is no chance we can do Amarillo, Texas, and the women's NIT, where Mike Ashley uttered the greatest phrase that I have used time and again. You could stand on a tuna fish can and see forever in Amarillo, Texas. You can stand. I mean, literally, we were right outside, I think, the Cal Farley Coliseum, or we were at the Ding Dang Paladuro Canyon. And Mike said, look here, boys. We can stand here on a tuna fish can and see forever. And I was like, yes, we can.
Looky here, boys. That brings us to one of the most obscure sports impressions of all time. Frank Broyles at the Stevie Nicks concert. Look at that, Keith. There's a white-winged dove.
Frank Broyles at a Stevie Nicks concert. I like it.
You have no idea until you know, Rick. You have no idea until you know.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We had some good times on the road. There's no doubt.
Oh, man.
You had to turn your microphone off one time during the game with DePaul. Wes does such a great call. There's not much for a color guy to do. I knew a lot about the team though, so I could fill in usually. But this was the last game of the season, I think. And you've said about everything to say on this broadcast. And there was a situation where the ball got swung around the court. Someone took a shot, and Patrinda Toney, 5'6", Patrinda Toney got caught on the back end of the zone defense trying to box out a girl that was well over 6 foot that got an easy offensive rebound. And I'm trying to explain to the fans why this happened. And the girl, this is sick. I remember the girl's name. It was Gail Ash. The girl's name was Gail Ash. And what I came up and said on the air was, Patrinda got caught there on the backside and got caught in front of the much larger Ash. Wes had to turn off his microphone. He was laughing so hard, and I had to do the play-by-play of the ball going back down the court.
Mute. That was a mute. We had to mute the mic. Yep, that was no doubt.
Well, Mike will
Hey, by the
debut-
way,
Yeah,
hang on.
yeah.
Shout out to Will Stewart, who says, check out Wes with the stellar lighting and great mic. You can tell he's a pro.
Yeah.
Actually, Will, I'm staying at the venerable Concord here in Syracuse, New York. So you can thank them. And fortunately, the little dog that's staying across the hall didn't start barking till about 5:25 this morning. So it worked out well.
Well, you do look great. He's right. The lighting is exquisite. There's no question.
It's right there. There we
No
go.
question
Yeah.
about it.
So,
Well, Michael, we'll debut open mic next week. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, then. Well,
hey, by the way, you two, and good luck to those Cowboys this week, huh? Hey. Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Jara. Thanks a lot, pal.
You know the thing I like about Dallas, and I tell Brad Sham, hey, Mike, you'll love this. Brad Sham has become a very good. Brad Sham, very good friend of mine.
Give me a place to stay at his house.
I told Brad Sham, I said, Brad, the best part about your job is there's never a lack of drama, ever.
You know, Wes, I've been beaten down so bad. I now tell people, I've gone from rooting for Landry to rooting for laundry. Anyway,
see you, brother. Be well.
Football stories, all right?
Be well. Take care, man. Good to see you.
Great seeing
Later,
you,
brother.
man.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
Misses. Bye-bye.
Hey to Goober. Hey to Goober.
Hey to Goober, yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. I wanted to surprise him. He was talking about
that was great.
He wanted to see you. So I said, yeah, let's get you on. Let's get you on.
Yeah,
Wes Durham
that's
is
great.
with us, and he's got the call for Syracuse, Duke tomorrow. And, you're in New York. And I want to talk about the ACC a little bit, Wes, because Clemson has obviously not lived up to anything. But I think the league – you got Miami, Florida State, and obviously Georgia Tech is really good. I mean, and then there's another tier of teams. I think the league is holding up even without the usual front runner.
Yeah, it is. The league only faces, Rick, one big hurdle if it continues kind of on this pace. And that is that, games like 2 weeks ago, I should say, or last week's game, SMU, TCU, things like that, Tennessee, Syracuse. The only real bell cow win they've got is Florida State against Alabama at this point.
Right.
And, you got to hope Alabama beats Georgia. And that really becomes one of the new factors in the college football playoff. And people, I'm sure they heard it. I don't know that people digest things they hear in the offseason like they do once it starts, right?
Right.
And for me, I think it's really important to remember that strength of record becomes a much more viable piece of the decision making, especially when it comes to the at-large stuff. So, the ACC's got to get a little better at that, and there's not a lot of windows left until we get to the end of the regular season. And but I do believe Florida State, Miami are on a collision course. If Florida State can win tonight, that'll put them on the collision course next Saturday night in primetime on ABC against Miami. And that's quite frankly a game the ACC needs to have happen.
Right.
That game would probably put two teams in the top 5 or 6 on a national stage. And more importantly, what it does is it puts the team that loses still has an opportunity to get back.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, the at-large situation would be real. Georgia Tech, to me, has got to win. They got to win. I mean, their only hope, quite frankly, is they have to win and then play Georgia tight. And if they don't go to the ACC championship game, then, hope that, some stuff happens behind them. The win at Colorado, which was good at the time, may not stand up long, but it'll depend on how Colorado plays.
That's true.
And then everybody will be pressed to tell you Georgia Tech's going to be favored in every game the remainder of the way till they get to Georgia. And that's because they're not playing Miami. They're not playing Clemson. They're not playing Florida State in the regular season. So it's going to be interesting. Now, I'm not going to remove other teams from contention, but once you get to 2 losses, it becomes a trickier proposition. It just does. The committee then can start to group teams in the back end of the at-large pool, things of that nature. And I think it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. I thought the 12-team playoff was a home run a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm one of the guys that would like to see 3 or 4 years of 12-team before we go to 16. But there's this mad rush to get to 16. And I think we've got a lot of infrastructure problems that we don't have time for today in college football that 16 causes.
Absolutely.
And people aren't thinking about it, but, as I like to say, when I get to that point in the conversation, I'm just the broadcaster at this point. So if they ask me to make a decision, I'd be happy to give them ideas. But I'm excited where college football is, because right now the viewership numbers, I mean, it's second only to the National Football League at this point in our country. It's amazing the way the sport has just taken off.
And I won't say it's surprising, but, we heard all this, with the NIL and the players moving around the portal, that's going to hurt all that. No, people are used to it because the NFL is the number one sport. They're already used to a professional game, and that's
Yeah,
it's
what it's done is in some small way it's created this weird parity too, right? So you've got players everywhere, and obviously the financial acumen creates some of that. I mean, I've got Syracuse and Duke tomorrow, and Syracuse has a 16-year-old corner from Palm Bay, Florida, who's one of the top impact freshmen in the country, who probably would have gone somewhere else had there not been that resource. We call it resources, but basically it's financials.
Right.
And look, it's part of the deal. And they have a player, Syracuse has a player that came back, who left Syracuse, went to LSU, and has now come back to play at Syracuse for his final year. And on Duke's side, Darian Mensah, everybody knows the story. The kid reportedly got $8 million to play 2 years at Duke at quarterback. So, that's just part of the whole the whole dynamic that's at play here right now in college athletics, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Wes Durham joining us on the program. Of course, the voice of the ACC Network, the voice of the Atlanta Falcons, as he's got Syracuse and Duke. Syracuse off to a great start. Shame what happened at their quarterback position.
Oh, boy.
I was so impressed watching them down at Clemson handle their business, man. That's a team that just turned around because of those resources that you're talking about. It's kind of pushed them in the right direction. Yeah,
they started out, they really played well. I thought they learned a lot from the opening game in Atlanta against Tennessee. I was particularly impressed with the way they took the fight to Clemson last week. I just thought that they started the ball game and they were going to be the aggressor. And that's the one thing that at the end of the day, when something like that happens, you got to fight back if you're Clemson, and Clemson didn't fight back, to be honest with you. So I think Syracuse posted a heck of a win. The Angeli injury at quarterback with the torn Achilles opens the door for Ricky Collins, who's an LSU transfer, to play and start tomorrow for the first time. And it'll be interesting. It's a young guy who's got a lot of skill, had a terrific high school career. He goes to LSU, and he's in the same quarterback room with Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, it's a great story, Ricky, but you're not going to play. And so he transferred here. He transferred in before Steve Angeli did, Rick. And so he was the quarterback when spring started. He was the starting quarterback. And they went through the spring, and it was still neck and neck. And it went all the way till 10 days before the first game before Steve Angeli won the job. Now, the first thing people who are around the program point out to me is the accuracy of Collins. It's not as good as Angeli, but the athleticism is. So I think that's going to be a curious part as this unfolds tomorrow.
Yeah.
Duke has been pretty good on defense, not great. Syracuse has been okay on defense, not great. I kind of expect it to be a shootout, to be honest with you, because Duke is starting to rev things up offensively. And last week they got the benefit of 4 NC State turnovers in the win against the Wolfpack. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how the ball game unfolds tomorrow at noon.
Yeah, it sounds like that transition could be maybe a little more seamless than at other places with Syracuse, because they already had a guy they had confidence in, at least, right? A little bit.
Yeah, and sure. And that's the other thing, too. And since Fran Brown's been here, really since Dino Babers was here, they have been an offensive-minded football team. Brown brought some defensive acumen to them a year ago in his first season where they won 10 games. But in doing that, now they lost a lot of that supply on defense. They're not as good defensively as they were a year ago by any stretch. And so it'll be interesting. I think it's kind of a game where the winner of this game tomorrow has a chance to kind of keep pushing. The loser of the game goes to October thinking, okay, wait a second now. We've got, in Syracuse case, it'd be a second loss. In Duke's case, a third loss in 4 games for Duke, by the way. If that happens, now how do you look at your football team? So
a couple other teams. Speaking of looking at football teams, I want to get your take on. Let's talk a little more about Clemson. Did Dabo look completely defeated or not? I mean, I can't believe what we've seen. We had Phil Steele in the program. He had to play in the national championship game. And what is going on, do you think, in Clemson, South Carolina?
A lot of us had Clemson playing in the national championship game.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's the thing. It's not any one thing that you can pinpoint about Clemson that says, okay, well, I know how to fix it, and here's how it's fixed.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. And this is one of those that, and I was told a couple off seasons ago by a head football coach who is a coach outside the ACC. He said to me, we don't really understand the ramifications of all this change until we see it happen. And I thought, okay, until we see it happen. He said, well, we don't know what's going to cause all the problems. We don't know the ramifications. We don't understand what it's like when there's a financial acumen involved. We don't understand what it's like when, there's an NFL element to the college game, and it's not just the financials. It's the way you have to coach them. I mean, you and I both seen the stories. Kids quit after 4 games, preserve a red shirt, get in the transfer portal, right?
Right.
I mean, look what happened. Look what the window was in Blacksburg last week. Those kids, after that game, there's some kids who, when Virginia Tech plays again, what's that going to be like? Are there going to be kids in the portal? How does it work?
Right.
And that's kind of what he was talking about. And now I don't know what is ailing Clemson in that light and how much of it is inside the building. But here's where you feel for Dabo Swinney. And some people, you either love Dabo or don't like Dabo.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of gray.
Yeah.
But when you cannot argue this, he has built a bona fide football program in this country that's won 2 national championships, 8 of 10 ACC titles, all the things he ran through a couple of weeks ago. And now all of a sudden, the golf analogy, they can't hit the ball in the fairway.
Yeah.
And you're starting to think, well, wait a second. How does all this talent not acclimate to what they want to do? And Rick, it is mystifying because last week against Syracuse, they just didn't have any go.
Yeah.
There was no juice about their football team. Now, they got a week off, and boy, it's going to be a hard week there. And it's probably already been a hard week. So,
yeah.
But I don't know that in Clemson's biggest, and I said this earlier this week on our SiriusXM ACC show, Clemson's biggest problem is Clemson right now. Clemson has to get clarity of them, not whoever they're playing. They can play anybody when they come back off the bye week. It doesn't matter. They got to get them fixed before they can win ball games, at least the kind of games they need to win, I think, to be successful.
Another team you've seen. I want to get your take on Bill Belichick's program in North Carolina.
I have not had them yet. I've not been there. I went to the road show in Chapel Hill. Oh my God.
What do you think?
Look, well, here's the deal. I mean, Labor Day night was the greatest day in college football for North Carolina ever, and then they kicked it.
Yeah.
Look, there's never been the run up to anything in Chapel Hill. I mean, I've been around that program a long time.
Yes, you have.
I've never seen a run up to an event like that in forever. and then they kicked it, and then they realized. I mean, they went down the field and scored, and you're thinking, holy cow, this is unbelievable. And then all of a sudden you go, whoa, they don't really have any players at all. And they do have players, but they don't have enough. And they turn and you have to start then going back and thinking about, well, what have I heard about this team? They had 70 new players on that team when they played TCU.
Right.
I mean, you and I spend time in college basketball. You're getting ready to see a roster at Radford that's almost been completely overhauled, right?
Only one guy. One guy's back. Yeah.
Right. Okay. You can do that in basketball. You know how you can do it? It's called AAU, and these kids get used to it. And it's a smaller number that has to assimilate, right?
Right.
In football, when you turn 70 over, holy cow. So look, Carolina, I'm not surprised. Now, I thought because of the schedule, I thought they'd be a little better. I thought they would, I thought they'd beat Richmond and Charlotte. I wasn't sure about TCU. I wasn't sure about USF. So in many ways, they're exactly where I thought they were. Now, when they come back is going to be the real question, because they're playing some teams, that in the preseason we thought, well, those aren't great ACC teams. They'll have a chance. I don't know I don't know where that is now. I mean, you may be looking at a 4-win Carolina team by the end of the year.
Right.
And not an 8-win Carolina team, which is what we thought they might be.
Well, finally, let me ask you, I have a lot of Canes fans that show up here on the show. Do you believe finally that we get the banana in the tailpipe every year with Miami, right? What do you think, man? They look the part to me, but it's Miami. What do you think?
I think we're going to get to this point where it's going to be Miami, Florida State. The question is, how big will the stakes be? I think Miami and Florida State are the two best teams in the league. Now, Florida State has to uphold that tonight in Charlottesville, and that won't be easy.
No,
Virginia's very talented on offense, and I think they find a way on defense right now. And John Brzezinski's done a terrific job as their defensive coordinator, and I'm excited for that moment tonight for Virginia. Rick, here's the thing: Miami's got the best offensive and defensive line combination, not just in the ACC. It may be the best combination of line play in the country.
Right.
They are really, really good on both sides. And it's right place, right time for Carson back, too. That kid, and I did a sit-down with him that aired on ACC Network in August. That kid went through a lot in 4 years at Georgia.
He did.
And I think mentally he maybe has matured. Now, the thing about Carson is the only stuff we saw after he got hurt in the SEC championship game was all the social media stuff. The thing about him is there's been at least in my opinion, a strong reflection of what it is and who he is. And I think that's helped Mario Cristobal. And I think he's been forced to be a leader at Miami a little bit because of what Cam Moore did.
Mm-hmm.
But make no mistake, they got a lot of talent around him now. A lot of talent. They've also got two pros playing defensive end, and Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain, when Tim Hasselbeck and I were doing ACC primetime a couple of years ago, Ruben Bain was a freshman. And Tim said, we're going to go down on the field before the game. I said, why is that? And he said, I want to look at Ruben Bain. I want to see his takeoff in warm-up. I said, okay. And I walked down there and I said, how's that look? He said, looks like Dwight Freeney to me. How about that?
Wow.
And he was a freshman. He was a freshman. So, look, I think they're really talented. I think Mike Norvell deserves a ton of credit. He's a terrific guy, terrific coach.
Yeah.
Florida State has been a roller coaster since he's been there. And I think Castellanos has helped them. I worry more about Florida State's survival rate than Miami.
Yeah, that's a great point. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And it might show up tonight. Like you said, it could show up tonight.
Virginia, Chandler Morris, as long as he can throw it, there's a chance. Because Chandler Morris is, I jokingly told somebody last week when we were getting ready to do the Stanford game in Charlottesville, he wears number 4 for a reason. And they said, why is that? And I said, because he throws it around like Brett Favre.
Absolutely. That's
what
he reminds me of. Yeah.
Who's
on the call with you tomorrow?
Coach Adazio and Dana Boyle, 12 noon, which is nice for us. We rarely get a noon kick. Means I actually get to sleep in my own bed tomorrow night before the Falcons home game. That is a win in this world, my man.
Hey, you better believe it, brother.
That is a win.
Well, I want to pass along. I hear from so many people, and I'm the same way. I've known you a long time, and you're one of my mentors in all this. But people tell me all the time, whenever I know Wes is calling a game, I may not care about the teams, but I leave it on just to hear Wes. I
appreciate that.
Dozens of people. I just wanted to pass it along, and it's true. It's true.
Well, that's very kind. I am. You know how much the New River Valley, and in particular Radford, meant to me at that point in my career. And it was funny. Mike mentioned Dave Hunziker. I just talked to him for about 40 minutes on the phone this week.
Great.
We ended up on a conversation, and we texted back and forth. We ended up talking on the phone, and we spent 10 minutes talking about the reason he called and 30 minutes talking about just life and going through our careers and families and things like that. And he just became a grandfather. And so
I saw that.
I'm like, holy cow, dude, we're not that old. You're still trying to figure out how you're going to go from Radford to Western Kentucky to Oklahoma State after 1 year. So,
right.
But no, Radford has been a real blessing, and it's always great to catch up with you. And I hear from Robert from time to time, Lenneberg, which is great. And I know there's so many special friends up there that are still there. And I absolutely hate it when I get to Virginia Tech and I can't get over there to, grab a bite to eat or catch up with some people. I'm hoping with basketball, I'll get a chance to come see Zach's team play. I knew him a little bit at SMU last year with Andy Enfield, and I'm excited to see what he can do for basketball too at Radford because he's got a bright future. That guy's got a ton of energy. and I can already tell he's put a team on the floor for you guys. Dale Jones is fun to watch now.
Yeah,
You're gonna be,
you know him.
in good shape. Dale's a good player. He was a terrific minutes guy at Clemson, and I think he'll have a really good career at Radford for sure.
Paul Hightower in chat said, "Hey Wes, get in touch."
Rowdy Red.
Pittsburgh.
What's Rowdy Red want? What's that guy want?
He wants you. He wants you to hang out with him when he gets to Pittsburgh.
Dude, Pittsburgh, yeah. If I get to Pittsburgh this year, I'll give you a shout. I'll try to at least.
And by the way, you still have your original. You still write your original chart, don't you? You got to have one with you.
Well, I got. I'm sitting here making notes. I actually have the football charts printed now.
I do too.
So I have the football charts printed out, and I add the notes to it because with 2 games, you end up carrying around this big binder here with all the stuff in it, which weighs down a backpack. But no, I make all the notes, and they do the charts for me, so that helps. To get the name and number down there saves me about 6 to 8 hours a week, so that helps.
Sure.
Yeah.
I borrowed your template many years ago, and I still use it. So there you go. Well, listen, man. Thanks for taking the time, Brad. I know you got to get out of here, and let's do this again sometime whenever it works out for your schedule. I'd love to have you back. So
thanks, great. Rick. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great week. Good to be with you, my man.
You too. Stay safe travels, brother. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Take care.
There you go. That's Wes Durham, voice of the Atlanta Falcons and the voice of the ACC. How good's that guy? Is that guy good? That guy's pretty good. Thanks to Family Fencing, speaking of good, sponsoring our studios here in Reiner. Jason Green and the company. Give them a call. Hang out with them. No matter the material, residential, commercial, agricultural, free quotes, payment plans. I mean, they have it all, Family Fencing. And thanks to all the folks who have reached out to them already. We appreciate that. Thanks to Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic. Our chat room just absolutely exploding. This is our 5th week we're completing this week on the show. It's amazing how that's taken off. So thank you for that. Thanks to Travis Williams, everybody, Professional Door Incorporated in Dublin. Thanks for his support. They've been in business 38 years, garage doors, nothing more, nothing less. They're the best. They're so good, by the way, they got hired to take care of all the doors at the Walmarts across the country. Yeah, they're here in Dublin, Route 100, right across from New River Community College. It's always a great drive anyway if you're up there in Route 100. We want to thank, of course, Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Jonathan Sweet, the director, is going to be on with us next week. And we're going to talk about all the great projects we've been highlighting all week. I'm so honored as a Pulaski County native to say that we are presented each and every day here on the program by Pulaski County. Jonathan reached out yesterday, talked about how much he's digging the show. That was awesome. I appreciated hearing from him. It means a lot. Go see Charles Lee, Little River Heating and Air. They've told me they've gotten 3 jobs right from you. Best listening audience in YouTube. Call them up. You're going to need them. It's time for heat coming up very soon. BDST fan question of the week brought to you by the attorney, Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford. This week, it was how many total wins does Virginia Tech come up with? The winner was 4 over 5 by about 4. By about 4. And thank you to Larry Ramsey, National Bank member, FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST. Been with him for 35 years. So thank you, Larry, for all of your support. And I believe that takes care of everyone here on the program. Thank you. Yeah, Wes is awesome. Appreciate him taking the time this morning in his travels. Now joining us on the program, speaking of wonderful, wonderful people, very good at their job. It's Jen the Gamecock Girl joins. Look at her, those bright, smiling eyes this morning. Good morning. You're a sight for sore eyes, Jen. How are you?
Good morning. You're being so sweet. Yeah. I wonder how long it'll last, though. I'm thinking like it's not going to last long. We're going to talk about the Gamecocks, and then you're going to rain on my parade, and it's not going to go well.
No. Well, you act like you're surprised at being sweet.
Well, yeah. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
What jersey you have on? You got a jersey on, I see. Is that a jersey? Who you got? What number is that?
It's just 1 because they do that now for the NIL. They just make them all with number 1.
Does Cocky wear 1 too? Does he wear number 1?
Wait, hold on.
Don't you have a Cocky in there? She's going to go grab. Better be careful I say that. She's going to go grab Cocky. No, okay, an 01, so I was close.
I think sometimes he wears 00s, though. I don't know why I'm remembering that way.
Yeah.
No, I think it is 01 because we were founded in 1801. So maybe that's why. Cocky knows. He's smart.
Cocky knows. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he also knows, let's just talk about it here to get it out of the way. Tomorrow night's a big night for your program. You're at home.
Mm-hmm.
You're fairly a solid home favorite over Kentucky. For you personally, I mean, it's your former squeeze, Mark Stoops, bringing his team in. So you've got even more emotion into this. So what do you think? How do you think it's going to go?
Well, number one, it is supposed to be rainy and potential lightning strikes, which I'm not very excited
delay, right? Ooh.
And it's a late kick. So this could be another late one for us, like in terms of ending time, like that game with South Carolina State that wrapped up close to midnight. I think it'll be similar potentially, which I'm not revved about that.
No, it ruins everything. Yeah, it ruins.
But I don't know. Kentucky's got a good running game, and we saw against Missouri that we don't defend well against the run. So I'm feeling pretty anxious. I'm not confident. I'm hearing that about the line and us being favored, but I don't know. In the rain part, our running game we had -7 yards against Missouri. So if we have to run a lot more, I don't know. I'm not feeling great about it.
And you know what the outcome's going to be if you have fewer points at the end of the game than Kentucky. That means
that was a soft way of you to describe that. Thank you. The sweetness is continuing, but it is a little bit of a dangerous game for us. And if we can't win this, are we going to be able to win any SEC games?
And you know what that's going to do to the temperature of the seat of your head coach.
I do. I understand that. Now, that said, these are the times sometimes when we do excel after I have just thought, oh gosh, we're at rock bottom right now.
Like last year.
Correct. So I keep hoping, I keep buying into this. I'm like, okay, this is the week where we get it together. This is going to happen. So there is some optimism. There's some faith, and we are at home. So maybe we can get it together. Maybe we can make this happen.
Well, and you've always said they've been starting out slow, right, since Shane got there. So maybe that's just what this is, and maybe they're going to start now,
Yeah.
like they did last
year. Yeah, it's a setup for success. Let's say that, Rick.
It's a setup for success.
That we are meaning to do this.
Is that what you thought, though, when you went out to the guy who looked at you and went, boy, that's a lot of food? I mean, you don't want it to be that kind of setup for success.
Well, are you talking about the one that weighed my food or the one who used nose spray at the table after he told me that the SEC was an evil empire?
Oh, he weighed your food. I think I'm talking about that date. Yeah.
Yeah. He was not a sports fan of any variety, he told me, unfortunately, after we went out on the date.
Nice choice, Jen.
And the weighing of the food. Yeah, he had
to do your research.
He had the scale. Thankfully, he weighed his own food too, because I was waiting for that moment. Like, wait, is this just for me? But he weighed his own food also.
Do you want to say hi to Paul Hightower? He's in chat. You know,
hey,
Paul. He took care of you, right? How did that work? You had tell that story real quick.
Paul treated me like the queen, the Gamecock queen. I went to Pittsburgh to watch our men's team unfortunately lose in the opening round 2 years ago in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And Paul got me access to the arena, which was beautiful. He met me. He's running the whole show. He's the mayor of this whole situation. Like everybody, we're walking past people.
Paul is the mayor.
Paul. And I'm with him, and he's escorting me in. Like, even though he's so incredibly busy, he meets me and escorts me into the building, which is so kind and so sweet. Takes me down to the floor. I got to hang out with the mascots and the other teams, cheerleaders and band, and like see everything. He gave me, again, we lost, but he did give me all the printed out graphics and everything that we had for the game.
Oh, it's awesome.
Including that that little strip that had South Carolina on it that they would have slapped on the brackets if we'd won.
Yeah.
I have it because of Paul.
Really?
So it is. He was wonderful to me. I'll always be grateful that he did all that. Thank you, Paul.
He was hanging out with Adam Sandler this week. Did you see that?
He's very VIP. I mean, seriously.
He's just casually hanging out with Adam Sandler. Hey, Adam, I'm Paul. Hey, Paul, I came to see you. I hear you're the mayor, Paul. That's what Adam told him.
Well, I just don't know how he would ever move from Pittsburgh because he is a celebrity up there. He probably gets all his food and drinks and stuff for free everywhere he goes. Absolutely. Why would he leave?
No, why would you leave? Yeah.
Even at my hotel, there was a gentleman working there. I think he goes by something like Huggy Bear or I don't know. Paul's going to write it in the chat. I can't remember what his little nickname is, but he used to play football at Duquesne. And Paul said, say hi to him when you're at the hotel. And I said hi to him and he gave me this huge hug. And he was like, can I get you anything? Can I take care of you? So I was in the Paul network the whole time I was there.
That's
in spite
awesome.
of the loss, it was a good visit.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you deserve that kind of treatment, Jen.
Thank you. You gave me that treatment at Radford when I came in. And you took
I tried. Yeah.
I got to meet the men's basketball coach and the baseball coach.
Yeah.
Which Darius has since left, but I did get to meet Darius and hang out with Shane, right? His brother Shane.
Yeah, people were happy to meet you.
Yeah, it was fun.
They were happy to meet you. All right, you want to start getting into some negative things, at least on your side? You want to tell people how we did last week on our picks?
You didn't do as well as you think you did.
Oh, I didn't? Okay.
You won by one last week.
We have a new leader, right?
No, we're tied up now.
Oh, here we go. Here we got Jen math going on. This is there.
I think. Is
I don't know.
What you have?
I don't know. I just like to give you a hard time. I'm letting you take care of the books.
Yes, we are tied up.
You're the brains, sweetheart.
I don't know about that. I was up one going into the week, and then you won by one last week. So
that was a Han Solo reference, by the way. Remember when Leia was mad at him and he's the brains, sweetheart. Talking about Luke.
I'm not good with movie quotes. I'm sorry. I've seen the movie. I liked it, but I'm not good with the quotes.
Yeah. I'm with you.
You talk music to me. I can help you.
I understand. Well, let's get into it. And boy, I know you and I are both happy. This is a legitimate banger slate of games. We haven't had that since really week one. This is the real deal this week, isn't it, in college football?
It is
from noon to midnight. It is on this weekend. Wow.
And tonight, we got two good games tonight, too.
Exactly. And we got them both on here because I couldn't leave them off. And we're going to start out with the one Wes was just referencing, Florida State and Virginia. The spread is down to 6.5. Florida State has that big win over Bama. They've kind of cruised the last 2 weeks because, well, they were playing like me and 10 other guys. What do you think? Charlottesville, they can score now. Virginia should be undefeated. They threw a pick late and lost at NC State. Do you think that there could be an upset in Charlottesville?
I think if I had to guess, I'd give it a 30% chance of happening. What would you say?
That's fair. I really want to pick Virginia. I'm not going to, but I hope I'm wrong. This is one I'd like to see. It'd be kind of cool to see him do that.
Same. I think that Virginia would be good to bet against the spread with on this game, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to pick them to win yet. But I didn't know this. UVA and USC West are the only two FBS teams with more than 1,000 yards rushing and more than 1,200 yards passing. So go Virginia. I had no idea.
That offense is devastating. They're good. They're good. So Florida State better be ready tonight. I'm going to go Florida State, but I don't feel good about it at all.
Yeah, same.
At all.
But given the 30% guess, I feel like I have to go with Florida State because I don't know. And I just don't know how UVA will handle the pressure of such a big game after not being that great for a few years. And that's always a lot to manage with expectations. And
they need to show out tonight. The kids need to come. That needs to be a special event. If they're ever going to bounce back, tonight's the night to do it. In terms of making it a big football event. So we'll see. We'll see. And the other one, it starts a couple hours later, but it's a good game. Now around here, it's a Big 12 game, so people aren't going to be nearly as invested. But TCU at Arizona State, I think it's a 1-point spread. Those Sun Devils got me a big win last week in our head-to-head.
Yeah, they did. Did you want me to go through all that from last week, or are we just moving on?
No, you can't. Well, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. It's your
Okay,
show.
all right. We're in this now, so we'll stay here.
Okay.
But I have TCU in general. I think TCU is more consistent this year. I think Arizona State is still not, to me, convincingly ready for a game of this magnitude.
I'm going with the Devils at home in the desert. You know what? You ready for this? I don't think it's going to be that close. I got them winning by a couple scores. I got Arizona State winning.
I'm going to write that down.
Write that down. Put that down.
Scores.
Yeah. There she is. You done now? You good? Okay. USC, the only team in California that has any kind of pulse as a football program, at Illinois. Illinois is coming off just an absolute. I mean, it's beyond a beatdown when you play your big rival in the Big Ten and you lose, what they score, 63, 66, Kirk Cignetti. I hear Kirk Cignetti's too old. Anyway, what do you think? Can the soiled condoms go halfway across the country and get a win in the Midwest?
Well, wait, time out, sir.
Yeah.
I properly picked that upset, and you picked Illinois last week. So I just wanted
I know. I did.
So, and yes, it was 63-10, which is awesome.
63.
No, I don't like Illinois, so there's that.
You hate Illinois.
Well, it's okay.
You're going USC, aren't you?
I am going USC. I think part of it is, though, that I don't understand quite yet is how Illinois will respond to getting clobbered last week. I just don't know. But I'm going to go USC.
Yeah, I am too. I don't think you can come back from 63-10 like that. That was. Woo! I watched 2 series and Indiana scored. I watched 4 Indiana plays and he scored 2 touchdowns. I'm like, okay, no, they're not serious today. No. Notre Dame at Arkansas, your number 1 hottest. Let's go on a long drive across the country for a first date coach there. Arkansas at home against Notre Dame, who has 2 losses, but yet still showed up in the top 25.
Yeah, how does that happen? I don't get that.
Because they are above college football. They know it. It's just a fact. But anyway.
Well, there are 2 things with this. Number 1, it's a noon kick. And you know about these noon kicks. To me, there's a big advantage for the visiting team when it's a noon kick versus a nighttime kick. So there's that. And number 2, my boyfriend, Sam Pittman, is under tremendous pressure right now. He is close on his win-loss record of switching from a winning percentage to a losing one. And when that happens, his buyout drops by several million. And it's rumored that the school is going to axe him when that occurs. So if he loses a few more, he's going to be at that line. And I think he's going to be done personally. But I don't know. I think his players like him a lot. We'll fight hard for him. That said, this noon kick, I'm still going Notre Dame.
So I think what you can't get lost on that is apparently Jen has changed her Facebook status to in a relationship with Sam Pittman. Did I not just hear my boyfriend? I didn't know this was going on. Breaking news.
He's my road trip boyfriend. He's in this category, like this little small box over here, this compartment. And that's it. That's all. That's the only role he has in my life.
Well, I'm going to say they're not going to have to worry about the buyout because I think Arkansas is going to get a big win for him tomorrow against the very overrated and not very good Notre Dame team. How about that?
Well, Arkansas does have that great quarterback, Taylor Green, right? Is that his name, Taylor Green?
Yeah.
He's amazing. And I think that's not a bad guess. Now, if this game were at night, I might go that route too.
And by the way, I would totally wear one of the Arkansas Razorback hats that they always show the students have on. I would totally wear that if I was down at that game as a guest or something. I would wear it the whole game.
But would you wear Gamecock stuff? Because I've asked you about that before and even sent you things, and I've never seen you wore them one time to satisfy a bet, and then I never see them ever again.
Do you guys have something like that? Do you have like a Gamecock? Is there like a apparel? What is it?
It's like the little, what do you call that? Little fluffy stuff on the top. This thing. Let's go.
Oh, so you can buy that and wear it during the game?
Yeah.
The top knot?
It's what do you call this? Hey, someone who does livestock. and stuff at Virginia Tech. You will know this. This thing.
So they sell that, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, and it's like a little, like a visory thing, or it'll have the beak. You know,
I'd wear that. Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't wear the beak, but I'd wear that. Yeah. Louisville and Pitt. Speaking of Paul Hightower, it's not. I know he doesn't work at Pitt, but he's in Pittsburgh. Cardinals going on the road, take on the Panthers. What you got?
Pitt's had a bye week to prepare, and this is the first road trip of the season for Louisville. I've practiced saying Louisville. Make sure I'm getting that right.
You said it well.
Plus, Louisville's 0-3 against the spread. They've been double-digit favorites a few times, but they couldn't win by the allotted margin. And I don't know, Pitt looked pretty good against West Virginia. Now, of course, they did lose in overtime, but I thought they looked good. I'm going to go Pitt.
I'm going to go Louisville on the road to beat Pitt. Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to go with Louisville. Duke and Syracuse. Wes Durham will be on the call. That already makes the game worth turning on for just a little while anyway. What do you think? Syracuse without their quarterback. You just got the skinny though from West. They feel pretty good about their backup.
I like Syracuse. After beating Clemson, I'm a Syracuse fan. They're helping me get through the troubles of the Gamecocks right now by beating Clemson. What was that score? 23 something? I don't remember what the final score was with the Clemson
34 something. It's like 34-14 or something. They crushed Clemson.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, it wasn't close. So
yeah.
Of course,
I've got the Q's winning.
The backup thing, I don't know, but he sounds good. Like sounds like a good player. Richie Collins.
I think the transition is going to be fine there. So, yeah. Syracuse. I'm with you. All right. Ohio State, the Buckeyes heading to the Great Northwest to take on the Washington Huskies.
Well, traveling across the country now, these big road trips. I don't know. It's the first road start for the Ohio State quarterback as well. But I looked it up. Ohio State's won 19 of their last road games against non-ranked opponents. So I'm going to go Ohio State.
20. Make it 20. Me too. Ohio State. Cincinnati and Kansas, because when I sent this, it was an even game. I don't know where the spread is right now, but Cincinnati, Kansas, another one of those Big 12 games.
Cincinnati has the nation's top-ranked red zone offense. But Kansas is at home. I'm going to go Kansas.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm going with Kansas. Right.
Plus, John Riggins went there, and, that's another reason why I like Kansas.
Your all-time football crush. Can I say that? Is that right?
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. All right, here we go. LSU at Ole Miss. Fake Southerner Brian Kelly against way too skinny Lane Kiffin.
Will you please do the fake accent, please?
Hey, y'all, what's going on? Of course, I'm a Louisiana Cajun. Y'all, give me another bowl of crawfish stew. Oh, put a little bit of them oyster crackers on the side. I was destined to be down here in this great state of Louisiana. Put me in the toe of the boot, put me at the heel. It don't matter. Woo-hoo!
One thing he said was the word family. I need you to say the word family like he did. Can you do it?
How did he say it? I don't remember specifically how he said family, to be honest with you.
It was like super fakey. We're gonna have to look that up and get you to resurrect it.
I will.
Okay.
I'll get if I hear it, I'll get the impersonation down.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going LSU. I know we just made fun of him, but they're really, really good, and they're really good defensively. I know that's going to be one of those games where they're actually underdogs, I think, but I like the Tigers to go down and beat the Rebs.
I'm taking Ole Miss at home. Skinny Lane Kiffin for the win.
I know. He's up there on your chart still. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Another game that was like a 1-point spread, or maybe it's 2 now. I don't know. Auburn at Texas A&M. Auburn coming off a big loss. A&M at home. What do you think here in SEC land?
A&M has the stronger offense. They're playing home. They have the momentum. Auburn allowed 10 sacks versus Oklahoma. I like A&M.
I do too. They beat Notre Dame. You told me they wouldn't, but they did.
Well, I was wrong.
Wow. Let's just record that. Okay, let me hit record.
Whatever. I'm always wrong.
Texas said,
This is your job. I'm a music tech.
no, this isn't my job. If only, but it's not.
It pretty much is. Come on.
Indiana at Iowa. The way too old, I hear, Kurt Signetti has his team rising through the charts. They might be the second best Big Ten team. I mean, all right, maybe Penn State has an argument, but they're really good. And I'm
How
going
old
with
is he? Have you
he's
looked up
his
his
early?
age?
He's in his early 60s, right? Let me look it up. I want to make sure we're
Is
right.
he a little bit hot? I haven't looked at him lately.
I don't know. I don't know if he is or not.
I mean,
he's 64.
Okay.
He was apparently too old to even consider hiring a few years ago in Blacksburg.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know how that all turned out now. I mean, after the clobbering of Illinois, I've got to go Indiana. They got great momentum.
Oh, they do. They're good. How about Tennessee at Mississippi State? The Bulldogs are quietly undefeated, getting absolutely no credit whatsoever. How did they rank up on your coaches list in terms of the dating? What was that? I can't remember.
Levy was kind of high on the snuggly scale. He's a beefier dude, shall we say? But he's doing a good job down there. And I picked them for an upset a few weeks ago that you didn't pick. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I don't remember either.
Are you going to say you were wrong? Because now
I was wrong. I was wrong. I won't be like Arthur Fonzarelli and go, I was wrong. I was wrong.
Okay. Well,
Tennessee.
I think Tennessee still too, but I want to pick Mississippi State. I'm not going to.
I know you do. You don't like Tennessee. You're a South Carolina fan. You can't. All right. Arizona at undefeated Iowa State. Wildcats are kind of pretty good. Iowa State at home. They don't score a lot, but they can defend. They can run the football. What do you think?
I'm going to go Iowa State. What about you?
At home? I want to go Arizona on the road. Wildcats. Okay. I like the Wildcats. All right, here we go. The big one in the Big Ten, Oregon and Penn State. Oregon is just decimating its opponents. James Franklin has his team right up there. What, at number 3, 2, 4? What is it? What's the rankings beside those names, Jen? Do you have that in front of you? 3 and 4? Is this a 3 and 4 game?
I don't have that.
Let me look it up. But anyway, what do you think? Oregon and Penn State.
I'm going to go Penn State. They're the second in the country right now in red zone defense. And Oregon's got to travel across the country. This travel thing is a bigger thing than people are willing to acknowledge.
You travel all the time and you come out on the other side looking great and having a great time.
It's exhausting, especially like when you're changing time zones and stuff. That's a big deal.
Okay, Oregon's number 6, Penn State's number 3.
Oh, wait. Will just posted in the chat that Oregon's going to win this thing. He's 6.
I kind of think they are too, actually.
I guess Will's being a smarty right now with us. I don't know if we're allowed to say smart ass.
Yeah, you can. It's YouTube.
He's got 9 total points of offense happening.
Yeah, you can say things like that. Sure, it's YouTube.
3 field goals.
You dirty
he said there's some rankings. Okay.
You dirty
now
girl.
I understand. Okay.
I'm still going Oregon.
Okay.
I like Dan Lanning as a coach much more than James Franklin. All right, Alabama and Georgia. Oh, if only Keith Jackson were still with us to call this game. Between the hedges, I got Georgia winning over Bama.
Same. Although I think Bama is better than people are giving them credit for. They're a good team, and I think they're getting better and improving quite a bit.
They are getting better. They are.
Game, and they look pretty strong. So this may not be as easy as Georgia wants it to be.
And then there were 2. Well, we'll get the one out of the way first. We're going to reverse this here. Let's go Virginia Tech at North Carolina State. Although I think Tech will make it a fourth quarter game. I really do. I think North Carolina State's going to outscore them, like a 34-27 type of game. But I got North Carolina State winning, but I think Tech's going to hang around in this game. What do you think?
I also have NC State, which hurts to say, but I saw in Tech Sideline that that post about all.
You mean Will Stewart's site?
Will Stewart's site, and I saw all the players who were out, and that was shocking to see that. So I don't know. NC State's kind of inconsistent too. And what time's the game? I actually don't know.
It's late 7 o'clock. It's a 7 o'clock game. Yeah.
I feel like that favors NC State further in the cause, although it's supposed to be rainy and gross too.
Yeah, it's going to be raining everywhere. Yeah. I think we're going to have a lot of delays tomorrow night through a certain sector of the South. I think that's going to happen. All right, here we go. Speaking of a game that I know you're expecting to be delayed, and maybe you're going to want it to be. Kentucky at South Carolina. Last week, we don't make her say it. Out of respect for Jen, she did not make a pick, which we know what pick she said. We know what that means. As Missouri ran roughshod over South Carolina, nearly 300 yards on the ground. Whew. What do you think? Lots on the line for this game, not just the season, but maybe other things. Are they going to swell up? They're going to show up tomorrow night? Is tomorrow night some kind of special night where you're going to wear, like, I don't know, bright yellow uniforms or something? What we got?
I've got to have faith that we're going to rally and figure some of this out. I've got to have it, or I'm not going to be able to get through the next 48 hours. Well, less than that, 36 hours, whatever it is. I've got to have faith that we can do it, because if this cannot happen, it's going to be really, really tough, long season for me. Correct.
I'm going to go South Carolina at home. I think you're going to have enough to win at home. Now, if it were on the road, I'd go the other way. I would go Kentucky, but I'm going to go South Carolina. I don't want Mark Stoops leaving your place thinking, see, you should have stayed with me, Jen. I don't want that to happen for you.
Mark is so unappealing. If it was between him and Brett Bielema, I don't know what I'd do.
If that were your only two choices, what's going on? Are you – are you just driving solo?
I might, actually, which is saying a lot. But maybe I'd go Stoops just because he's SEC. Bielema used to be SEC. He was at Arkansas, right?
Correct.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, once upon a time.
But I do not want anything to do with that man ever. At least Stoops owns a bourbon company or something. So.
Oh, well, I think you just made your choice.
Yeah. Okay, Stoops, you win.
There you go. I mean, if nothing else, you can just say,
hey. Not our game coming up. Just
no, not this one. Not this one.
Just a competition with Brett. Only that.
Are you going to the game tomorrow?
I am. I've got to work. I'm actually getting ready to leave for Greenville, South Carolina to go recruit. And I have a recruiting event tonight and tomorrow. And I'm going to drive back, and I should get here pretty close to kickoff. So I'm not hosting a tailgate because I will not have the time or resources.
Sure.
Time nor resources to host. But I can't miss a game.
Well, you do a lot. Where are you going to be in town? No, I'm traveling. I'm going to go see Holly.
Games, unless it's dire. I don't miss
going to Orlando again. Huh?
Well, sometimes got to run around a little bit.
Me and the gals are going to Vegas. You know, it's going to be great. It's going to be great when you're doing the show from Vegas. Now that we can see everything.
Oh gosh, I hadn't even thought of that.
Oh, you better think about it. That's going to be fun.
Well, I won't be able to do it in the room because all my friends will be sleeping. So I don't know.
You can just walk around Vegas. That'd be great. You could see all the pretty lights and all the great things. But that'll be, we'll conquer that another day.
I'll be in my cocktail dress from the previous night.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. No question. All right. Well, listen, have fun tomorrow. Stay safe. And thanks for your time as always, Jennifer. I hope you have a great time.
Oh, you called me Jennifer. It sounded so formal.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Jen, the Gamecock Girl.
I think you're kind of creepy. The way you said
that did, didn't it? It kind of went Vincent Price there a little bit, didn't it? Yeah. Well, listen, have fun, enjoy, and we'll reconvene next week. Enjoy the wonderful day of college football, man. It's a fun weekend.
And go Cox.
All right, there you go. Be good. That's Jen, the Gamecock Girl, joining us on the program with our picks. A lot of fun with her as always. Thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors before we head out for another week. It was a great week. Thank you so much for everybody. Great comments. I hear from so many people. Thanks to everybody who sends us stuff on the Professional Door text line and comments here in our McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Just really Great stuff. Always please like and subscribe and share the channel. Remind people it's free. Now that we're well over 500, remember, all you have to do is get one person, if you're subscribed, to subscribe, and we're going to hit 1,000 quickly, and that's the next benchmark. Thanks to all of our guests today: Will Stewart from Tech Sideline, Mike Ashley, Wes Durham from Syracuse as he gets ready to call the Orange and the Blue Devils tomorrow, and as always, thanks to Jen the Gamecock Girl. Thanks to Family Fencing sponsoring our studios, McClellan Chiropractic for our chat room, the attorney Ryan Pry for our BDST fan question of the week, Little River Heating and Air. Thanks to Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams up in Dublin, National Bank, member FDIC, and Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. We had a very, very fun week. Yes, Tony Powell, go Cougars. Cave Spring tonight. Get us a dub, TP. Come on, man. Get us a dub tonight. Thanks, everybody. It was a great week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the great comments. Continue to support the channel. And don't forget, on Monday, we'll have Jermaine Farrell. Filmation is going to join us along with Matt Rome, the Director of Athletics at JMU. Enjoy your football weekend starting tonight with high school football. Go Auburn Eagles. Go Cougars. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Take care. God bless you. Have a great